Lite, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a Ko-Fi, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Smith Tools and Purchase, Level Plain Poem, Vitali Z, Colton James, BG, Survive the Spin, FE Patriot, Thomas van der Zander, Gary Hughes, Measured Flat, Chris Wouters, Sea Level Cultist, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, The Name's Burley, Twad Wazzle, Jason Hornsby, Christoph Fournier, Flat Earth Travolta, JMels24, Unamento, M. 926, Endless, Golden McKinnon, Retro Bill, Michael Kahn, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Hairy Blade, Mobile Mac 777, Rob W, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Texas Mike, Chow Yun Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I will hand over to whoever's in Discord and G+, so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show. Hey Neil.
Yo,
How's it going?
it's going.
It's going.
It's a going. I'm a traveling man today.
You're not suddenly a Freemason now you've learned what that means.
Yeah. It's funny. For 3 days I'm saying, yeah, I'm a traveling man.
I did the same about 10 years ago when someone asked me that question. I mean, I can't remember exactly what I responded with, but it obviously wasn't the right response a Freemason would give, unlike Will Duffy.
So what does all right, say I'm a Freemason. What's the answer I should give?
Well, why are you asking for the right answer? You're not a Freemason.
No, but what did Duffy say? That's what I should have said. What did Duffy say?
I am
didn't
a
hear
traveling man.
Oh, okay. Now it's all coming together. Yeah, we're surrounded by disingenuous bastards.
Yeah, we are, yeah.
Are we like the last of the honest people?
What do you mean, last of the honest people? Nobody's honest, Neil. Everybody lies.
In this particular, let's say, topic we find ourselves in, I think we are. I haven't heard anybody lying about anything. We've been honest about everything.
Maybe.
What we discover is what we lay out.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't psychoanalyzed this, Neil. I don't know why you're doing it. What you're assessing? Our honesty levels.
Just that, sometimes it gets a little annoying how people are so disingenuous. Like, come on, how hard could it be? Laying out Earth is measured flat. It's right there. Everybody could see. And everybody seems to be playing stupid or they're lying.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, Neil. I don't want to assess anybody on their honesty. I'm not interested.
Well, that's funny because we're surrounded by a bunch of dirtbags.
I'm trying to disassociate myself from the dirtbags, right?
You can't. You even said it. What is that word? Symbiote?
Yeah, just give me a sec. Right. Just got my wife banging around, taking the kids outside.
I just said hello to politics, but I realized we're not there.
Right, okay. Don't sweat it, Neil. I did actually say to somebody yesterday, or say to the hangout / whoever, it'd be nice to have something to cover today, because typically we're in the mood to be doing something on a Friday, like it's not a special event, but I don't know why I even care, right? The numbers on the politics shows were the worst of the week. I mean, that's possibly just because, I don't know how to justify it. It's a weird one in my head. I look at the last week's statistics, or last 2 weeks actually, since we haven't been in there. Better numbers. So you're like, how else am I supposed to look at that, Neil?
Yeah, it was more fun for your. It's better for you if you were getting less views. The numbers are better without it. That's great. But it was kind of fun for us when Bundy's come in and you rip them apart.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough, because they can go back to suggesting that I'm in my echo chamber now, right? They want pain relief, so me not being in politics means they can go back to suggesting that I'm in an echo chamber. Like, okay. All this is all geared towards the acquisition of pain relief by our opponents, and I'm just done caring. I don't care. Like people who responded underneath the video, and I'm like, if you want to just interact with me, come and join my show, pay me, or be a mate of mine. That's it. And I've got people underneath going, well, you're only worth X amount per... I don't give a toss. I don't care. All right, that's your opinion, is it? All right. Okay. Meanwhile, what's that? You want me to interact with you? Yeah, did you not hear the first time? Come on my show. That's free. Pay me. That'll cost you money. Be my mate. That's it. Ranty, I've interacted with him as a mate. I mean, I didn't very much like him. I made that publicly obvious. But there we go. I've interacted with him for free. Yeah? In a friend of a friend kind of way. No, I don't give a toss. It's just some dude. Some very monotonous, boring
that
dude.
That was when you just got going in flat Earth, right? No. Now you're in the topic 10 years. Who are they to dictate what you're worth? You dictate what you're worth.
Well, that would always be the case regardless of how long I've been in the subject, right? So if you want to kid yourself, all right, well, it's only because you're worth this amount. It's like, all right, are they offering me that? That's what you're going to say. But if I cared, I don't. Like coming up with some witty response to somebody saying, here's the average minimum wage, couple of hours, you're worth that. You're like, okay, so is Ranty offering me that? For me to decline? And say, no, I value my time higher than that. Sorry. No, it's not. So he gives a toss what you value my time at, is the reaction.
Hold on.
If I cared.
Hold on. You do this for a living. I do flooring for a living. After 5 years, I was a mechanic. My rate went up. You're in this 10 years. This is your livelihood. You dictate what you make, not them.
More than happy to negotiate. The point is, it doesn't matter what some audience member who's not approaching me, or moreover, in the case of Ranty, approaching his audience to suggest he can get me, and I've gone, yeah, you can. And now what? What, Ranty's going to talk to his audience about how he's not going to be paying me? I don't give a toss. Making excuses about how it should be for free? I don't give a toss. Again, I don't care. He's expressed his interest in getting me, and I've told him, here's the barrier for entry. Money! Dickhead! Have you got any? No, then fuck off. You tight shithead. Like I give a crap what you fucking want out of me.
Agreed.
Adam.
How are you?
I'm stressed out. I've got too many things on. Tried to explain that in the video where I'm saying pay me. So there aren't enough hours in the day to just be a YouTuber when you're suppressed and people don't want to watch your videos because YouTube doesn't want to present people them. So you have to go out of your way to work extra hard to make sure you can survive in that environment. Takes up all of your time. Then you become an author and suddenly you've got even less time to dedicate to your YouTubing, which you keep a very close eye on a general basis so that it still pays the mortgage. So you go, all right, well, that ain't happening now. It's dipped below that amount, that threshold I need to stay afloat. Got to do something about that. So I've taken on a third job, and now I'm just knackered all the time. Because I know there's not enough hours in the day, and I know there's going to be a point, it's already happened once, where you make mistakes because you're just too tired. So again, people in the chat going, you're only worth this much an hour. Oh, really? Yeah, maybe I am. To the guy buying a microphone from me, sometimes I make 80 pence for a day's work. In the case of some listings that I've put up and messed around with, faffed around negotiating a price, waiting for it to arrive, you could chuck that up to several days if you like, for it to eventually result in a sale that nets me 80 pence profit. So you could say you're working for nothing. Yes, that's right. It's 80 pence in the red, in the black, sorry. I mean, it's still in the black. That's the way I look at it. I mean, I was trained by somebody who was a successful pawnbroker here in the UK on how to do it, retail that sort of stuff, second-hand goods in this case, microphones. So now I'm doing how to turn a profit, in this case, a profit of 80 pence for something that took a long time to achieve. But I'll take it because I choose what I do. Now, the fact that I'm now moaning about it, I'm allowed to do that too, right? On my show that I run for a profit. That's me choosing what I do. The people around me want to choose for me what I do, Neil. That's what you're trying to drive at. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Yeah, but in reality, there is actually a genuine barrier of entry. Just money. Just an amount that I'd negotiate with the person who wants me, in this case, Ranty. Has he negotiated with me? Has he sent me any? Has he bollocks? No, because he doesn't know how to negotiate with people. He's a painter and decorator. Is he trained in PR? Does he know how to do public relations? He's a wanker. Like he knows how to communicate with me. No, he knows how to be put in front of me by someone like Anthony. For me to express my disdain at what a tosser he is, repeatedly, to his face. Because he is. He's a retard. And he knows it. I've told him. Now he thinks after the fact because he's, turned tail on an absolute fact that Earth's measured flat and become a baller again for popularity, that somehow he's going to get me. No, wanker, you just pay me. Have you offered me a dime? No, you haven't. Then fuck off, you pathetic tosser. Go watch another man sleep with your woman.
Well, that's what I mean. Let me offer Ranty what. Sorry. I don't know if you could hear that, but I'm getting an order. Let me offer Ranty painter's wage that's only doing it for a year and tell him to do the job.
Yeah, Ranty's only worth a couple of bucks an hour. I'll just put it out here right now, right? Hey, Ranty, I need my house painting. Do you want to come round? I've decided you're only worth £2.50 an hour. So get over here and paint my house.
Yeah, exactly. He'll be like, what are you talking about? I've been doing this for 15 years. I made that.
Doesn't matter. I decided you're only worth £3 an hour, Ranty. Why aren't you here already? Are you a coward? Don't you know how to decorate?
I'm a mechanic. I've been doing this for 15 years, Nathan. I deserve more.
It's like going into a garage and going, I've decided you're worth this amount to work on my car. You're like, do you want a broken jaw? Is the response from the mechanic.
No, I think he'll just break his jaw. Adam, what do you do for a living?
Nothing.
Like, I'm not doxing myself.
I got in a pretty bad wreck a while ago, and it was like a whole career of hospitals after that, and then since then, been a lot of flat earth, but not much pay.
Bummer.
All right, so whatever you're making, we'll give you a quarter of that.
No.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we smoothed that out. How depressing.
I'm okay.
Nah, but here's the point. The point is, nobody should dictate to anybody, especially you. You are the last one standing.
Yeah, I don't care. Somebody did contact me almost immediately. How much to be on my Discord server? I've got a group of about 100 people. I want you to talk to them. How much? I'm like, well, in the past I've been offered, and then I thought, no, I'm not going to reply to in that regard, because number one, I haven't checked with the person who paid me last time if I'm okay to disclose what they paid me. But they just came up and said, would you like to do this? This is how much I'll pay you. I went, yeah, I'll do it for that amount. And then they paid me it, and then after I did the show, they paid it me again. So I actually got double what I was expecting, because I'd misunderstood what was being offered, I think. But I was paid twice, and I double-checked them, like, you paid me again, is that supposed to be happening? It was like, yeah, half before or half after. I thought I made that clear, and I'm like, no. I thought I was just getting one amount. You paid me, I did it, and that was it, I thought. So I got more than I was expecting for an appearance, but someone just offered me an amount, and I just said yes or no. Right? Same with anybody else. Vice. It's like when people weigh up clout. Yeah, this is what this boils down to, right? Randy thinks he's got clout. No, dickhead. Yeah, when Vice approached me for doing it for free, they paid my expenses. That's Vice! Not Ranty dickhead swinger. No! Vice! Yeah, they still handed over money to have me. People don't seem to get it. They think, oh, get Nathan. Oh, he doesn't want to come and talk to me and get muted for an hour. He's a... Yeah, no. No, I'm a normal guy who realises his own worth. Oh, you're going to tell me my worth, are you? Oh, right, yeah, like I'm telling Ranty that he can paint my house for £3 an hour. Yeah, I can do it too. It's absurd, though, isn't it? Meanwhile, people do get me. I went on Vice because I assessed the clout that I'd get out of it. I went, you know what? You seem like reasonable people. You seem like you'll give me a fair crack of telling you what flat Earth is, as far as I'm concerned at this stage of my journey. And they did. Did they put a theremin instrument weirdness over the top of me? Yeah. Absolutely their privilege to do so. I signed away my rights to do so. With them stood next to me while I signed. So, yeah, okay, yeah, you can use, obviously, my likeness. This is your material, blah, blah, blah. Signed my name next to it. Got my expenses paid. Made sure that was done. And then they filmed, and then got quickly ushered on because they hadn't got a licence from Ali Pally, which was very amusing, as the end of the video was us walking back down the hill we'd just walked up, finishing off the bit. Now, the bit was just them asking me questions that I hadn't had in advance. I had no idea what they were going to ask me. They just egged me along to talk about what flat Earth was, in my view, with a few choice questions. Yeah? Like I say, that's how I deemed that it would go. That's how it went. I didn't feel like I was betrayed or underhandedly treated. When they paid me my expenses, I didn't make a profit out of it. I felt like I'd not lost out, even if they did shaft me, because at the point that they were handing money over, nothing had been done or edited. So I'm like, okay, fine, at least I'm not out of pocket at this point when I go home on the train. Fine. So then at the end of the process, we're like, oh, that's not a bad result. I chose well. Now, bear in mind, I've turned down the Daily Mail and various other things, newspapers mostly, that have been handed to me by Mark Sargent and various other people who've looked for a flat earther, and I've assessed them and gone, wanker, think I'm going to talk to you? Piss off. Oh, right, you got clout, have you, Daily Mail? Go fuck yourself, you're a wanker. Now, if that's how I treat Daily Mail when they're being a wanker, how do you think I'm going to feel about Ranty Flat Earth? Pay me or fuck off, you stupid swinger.
No swearing.
That's how I feel, though. I'm just expressing how I feel about these wankers when I'm up against it with too much on my plate. Got too much going on. Now, I've got too much going on because I've got a mortgage to pay and a responsibility to keep two kids fed, if I could say it. So I'm going to do whatever it takes, like you would, wouldn't you, Neil? Right? To make sure that happens. Now, if it means I'm utterly exhausted constantly, which I am, then so be it. So long as the mortgage gets paid, right? That's all that matters. The kids have got a roof over their freaking head. Me included, obviously, but that's second fiddle to the children. But you know what I'm driving at. There's a priority list that suddenly went up in terms of my responsibilities to keep that priority list in order. When I had kids, I took on that responsibility, and I take it extremely seriously to the point where I'll be of detriment to my own mental and physical health to achieve it, right? Now, when you're in that state, going, bloody hell, I'm knackered. Was that 80p worth it? That guy bought 2 more microphones, by the way. Was it worth it? Hell yeah, it was. I cleared out 2 broken microphones to a guy who gave me an absolute shit ton of information. Made my life that little bit more easier in the selling microphones bit that I'm doing currently. And he bought 2 broken, things on, oh, what a disappointment, microphones. Admittedly, I made a pittance on both of them, but I haven't lost money on them. They're not sat there waiting for their value to be redeemed so I can spend them on other things. Someone else who's knowing they're broken and hoping to get them working for cheap has bought them and given me information along the way. So I'm win-win-win happy in that regard. I was a bit put out about some of the broken microphones I've got, right? Well, the nicer ones did get listed, and they've been bought, a couple of them, at least 3, to be precise. The ones that were too nice to chuck away. I don't think there's any other ones that are listed that are broken, so I've currently got a full inventory, or whatever the word is that I keep getting wrong. A full stock list of working microphones.
Inventory,
that's the one. Got there in the end. I just wanted a full inventory of working equipment, right? Non-broken stuff. So for someone to clear that out, I'm delighted about it. Just makes me feel happier. So yeah, like I say, well, that was not going to be my point. While you're in that process, someone like Ranty comes along and is like, "You're going to come and be on my show with Craig?" No, not unless you're paying me. What's that? You've decided how much I'm worth. No, I can do that of my own volition if I need money, right? I can decide to buy and sell microphones. Like, I had something of value, specifically my Rode NTG3 and Neumann that Adam bought. You asked me to talk about this the other day, right? We've got 10 minutes before the live show starts, right? Adam went out and bought a Neumann. And now I risked the last 100 quid in my bank, a little over, I went overdrawn, to give Adam cash to go and buy a microphone from somewhere near him, where he lives. And he dutifully went, negotiated with some rude boy who knew a mate in a studio that was clearing out something not quite of high enough quality to be putting in front of clients all day long, that he'd got for pennies to sell on for good money, and then got cold feet and trying to get good money for it, and sold it to Adam essentially for just over 100 quid. Now, I knew exactly what that mic was and was prepared to put my money where my mouth was, that it wasn't a fake. Bought it and immediately flipped it and more than doubled my money on it. Gave me a float to start buying microphones, right? That, and I scored a Neumann really early, and that turned into my microphone, giving me the opportunity to sell my old microphone, which, again, because it was a good boxed, nice, new-ish, I had a nice large float to be buying microphones to churn them. Right now, I've got my Neumann. I've admittedly probably spent more than I should. I've probably spent, I know what I've spent actually. I just don't want to say it out loud in case my wife can overhear through the window. I've spent too much money. Right. Anyway, the point is I've got a nice full inventory, whatever the word is, inventory of stock.
Inventory.
Nice inventory. Stock.
Think of invent and story.
Inventory of stock that's all nice and functioning, and a couple of them have started to sell, which means that money's going back into my bank while I'm looking at the lower amount from my YouTube ad revenue. I'm also looking at money still coming in from sales of microphones. So I'm reasonably happy, just overworked and a little bit stressed. But like I say, in the midst of that, what will drag me away from dealing with all of that? Well, several £100 if someone wants me on their show. You're like, you don't want to pay that? I don't care. Like, I'm not approaching you to go on your fucking show and asking you for money to do it, am I, you stupid tossers? You do want me, well, then there's a price tag. If you don't want to pay it, I don't give a shit. I've got other things to do. Yeah, I'm plenty busy keeping my mortgage paid, and I can do that, no worries, without any help from you or your money. I'm not approaching you proactively asking for it, am I? What you're doing is proactively making adverts about how you can get Nathan Oakley. You can for this amount. You paying it me? No? Oh, well, then you're just a wanker, and that's obvious to anybody listening to you who heard you say you could get me. I said, yeah, you can for this amount, and then you didn't want to pay it. Not that he's actually approached me, not that he's offered me a dime, or I've suggested any amount, right? That hasn't actually happened. That's the point. Proper wankers, that's who we're dealing with.
So he must have just been bragging on his, shall you say, old relationship with you, that he could just pull you out of a hat and bubble, here's Nathan.
Yeah, exactly. Ranty thinks he knows me. No, you don't. You never did, dickhead.
Yeah, I understand your frustration, though. Because that'd be like me. Guys offer me, hey, can you come install my flooring? I'll give you $50 for the day.
Yeah, exactly.
I really should. I look to get $375 to $400 a day. Now, do I get that? No. The lowest I'll go is $250 a day, and that's it. I will not do it for $200 a day. Did that when I was a freaking young man. But that's the going rate. If you want me, and if you needed me, Nathan, I'd probably do it for nothing.
That's the thing, isn't it? That's what exactly I explained in that shorts video. You know, number 3 on the list of how to communicate with Nathan Oakley is be my mate, be my family member. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, sometimes you do these things for family members for free. Now, me, do I professionally debate a family member for free? No, I do occasionally end up in discussions with it over a dinner table, but what's the difference? Well, I'm obviously not going to present an invoice at the end of that. You know what I mean? Bloody hell. But if you want me to do that with you on your time, yeah, I'll definitely offer you an invoice for it. And if you're not interested in paying it, then I won't be there.
Well, say your family member had a YouTube channel and they wanted you to appear.
Then
Now,
absolutely. Yeah, then they get it for free, don't they? Exactly, then they get it for free, don't they? Yeah? Like Eleanor, if she, at the moment, it's because Daddy's a YouTuber. She wants to be a YouTuber, understandably so, right? So if 10 years from now, suddenly she massively outstrips me because she decides to follow through and be a YouTuber like every kid in the world wants to be, then maybe she'll end up with a less popular dad on her show, right? Or me trying to get her subscribers to be interested in my subject more likely, right? But is she going to invoice me for that? Obviously not. Well, I'd hope not. I haven't taught her to be that tight.
I don't know. She may take it. She got the Oakley blood. Yeah, you're my dad, but I'm running the show here, Pop.
Another thing that happened that cheered me up today slightly, although I'm still overworked and underpaid, was typically, right, when I buy these microphones so when I'm purchasing them, I'll pitch a price and then start to market it before I even actually get the thing. As long as it's mine, I own it and I've paid for it, I'm happy to start marketing it, knowing full well that eBay takes 2 or 3 days to actually get their marketing arse in gear and get your stuff out online and, you know, actually have it appear in all the listings effectively. It takes a day or two, right? Now, don't get me wrong, you might look on someone searching the exact title that you've got, but generally a couple of days. So I'll start marketing something, but I've got to pitch a price. So based on what I've purchased, and I buy them from various different places, let's say I bought it from a pawnbroker and they're clearing it, or it's been a return, that's another one. Someone returned one of their microphones and they didn't have any means of testing the return, so it's suddenly cheap and I buy it from them. But while it's on the way, I've got to guess what I think it's actually worth. Obviously, I'm only buying it cheap, otherwise I wouldn't be buying it, full stop. But, you know, you've still got to pitch where its real value, or, you know, what you think someone will pay is. So you pitch that price and then you start to market the item while it's on its way to you, right? Then it arrives and typically 9 times out of 10 I've guessed pretty accurately and it's going to just remain the same price. Or most of the time, not most, half of the time with the old ones, right, they're broken, which obviously means they drop hugely in value the second you've tested it. Because I'm not going to lie and pretend, oh, well, this is just untested, there's a chance it might work. No, I just put on the advert, you know, this is for spares or repair, as in it's not working, right? And it's pretty clear that there's no video of me talking into the damn thing, right? So therefore it isn't working. And those go down in price. But you'd hope there's occasions where you've guessed wrong the other way. In other words, you've thought, nah, this will be worth X amount, and you get it and go, oh, this is actually much nicer than I expected. That happened today. So somebody who's got an elderly mother, I tend to get engaged in conversations about these people and their history. I'm saying this, and I won't go into any doxing or details about this particular individual, but nevertheless, his story is he's looking after his mother. He started a radio station in his house, and he's got all these mics lying around, but now he obviously has no use for them and needs to sell them on eBay. And he's telling me about his radio broadcasting history and the use of the mics. So, I've got, you know, most of the things I've got behind me that I'm selling, I know their history to a degree. Well, in this case, when I got the Shure 588 from 1960, other than the foam all being deteriorated inside it, it is a beautiful microphone. So I cleaned it up and I'm like, wow, this is really, really nice. So I changed the internal pop filter, tested it, listened to it back, and I'm like, wow, it looks great, sounds fantastic. I'm actually, for the first time, going to increase the price. So it went from being like a 50 quid mic to a 65 quid mic. I mean, it's not like it's a massive difference, but, you know, I'm like, no, this is actually worth slightly more than I anticipated. Hooray! Or in my view, it's obviously only worth what someone will pay for it. But, you know, in my estimation, it's worth slightly more than I originally thought it might be. Whether or not someone buys it is a totally different story. Anyway, we better start the show, eh?
How are you?
Morning.
Me, I'm overworked, underpaid, tired, and we're at the end of the week. So it's good in a way. So as much as I love sitting here doing the YouTube bit, that's my favourite by a considerable margin. I do actually still have loads of other things to do, so I'll spend my entire weekend doing those. Jardo says I'm here for the karaoke. By karaoke, do you mean my occasional singing into a mic that's maybe saleable as a Beatles mic or something? Maybe that's what he's referring to. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate the support. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
D waves and S waves. You give Earth a sonogram like a pregnant woman. You know how sometimes women get those sonograms to see how the baby's doing? That's what they do to Earth.
P waves and S waves are with respect to a horizontal plane of reference, though, aren't they, Neil?
Oh dear, flat Earth proof again.
Yeah, we've just been doing this chapter. I say doing it, going over it and dotting the I's, crossing the T's, making sure everything's phrased nicely. Huge chunks aren't really getting removed, but there are some fairly sizable chunks that we are dispensing with because of their redundancy. You don't notice when you're writing a book that sometimes you've said the same thing twice or three times sometimes. So sometimes when you say the same thing 2 or 3 times, sometimes you have to remove it because you've said the same thing 3 or 4 times, sometimes the same. And then you might want to remove one of those things, you know, where you say the same thing.
That is funny, though, because they're talking about, we're saying Earth too many times here. There's about a half an hour. Well, you got Earth being said 4 times here. Let's change it around. But listen, this is the type of intense environment. We want this book to be great. Your name is going to be on it. So you got Huey, Adam, Brian, John, everybody there with their eyes on it. And it's going to be a great book, people.
And
get ready to buy and buy it for a friend.
I'm truly privileged to have the people around me that I've got right. And I'm just going to flip what Brian does typically, which is like everyone else is writing your book for you. It's not even your book anymore. Right, that's nonsense, but Brian's doing it to touch a nerve, and he does occasionally do so. But if I actually lean into that and go, well, if I look at it in the way that Brian's having a jab with, well, no, there are lots of people writing, editing, and rewriting huge sections of my book for me so that it sounds better. And to the point where when something has been rewritten or written originally and then adapted from things like QE's website, which there's huge chunks of stuff that's come from top-end sources, why wouldn't you use them? Like QE's website. But when you're going back through the book, you'll listen to certain things in it and go, well, that sounds a bit like QE. Now, when it's phrased in a certain way, as opposed to just written down on the book in a certain way, you want to hear me rather than hear QE resonate through those pages, right? Because as Neil's just said, it's my book. So I'm so privileged to have people who are so humble. This is, people don't think this is a QE, it's absolutely the case. So humble as to say, this sounds a bit too much like me. How can we make it sound a bit more like you? What would you say? I mean, admittedly, it's with a lot of swearing and indignant and being told to shut up occasionally. But, you know, the point being that everyone around me wants this to be my book. Maybe not Brian. He does too, I'm sure. But you know what I'm getting at, right? They want it to sound a certain way. So if there's a certain Americanism that's snuck in through my referencing QE's website in a certain place, that is altered by QE or Adam, and we discuss how it should be phrased so it sounds more like me. And, you know, I'm just so privileged. I'm so lucky to have the people around me that I have got around me who couldn't have more my best interests at heart. You know what I mean? I am so lucky.
Absolutely.
Other than Brian. Brian would happen
Brian
to see
likes
me
to take
burn.
a piss out of you because you take a piss out of him constantly.
It's not fair. I should start playing victim. But anyway. Right, let's do a bit more housekeeping. You have to lean into this, Adam. You there? Because there's no Neil. And the rest of the Discord server, who I haven't had a peep out of. Any evidence you can have gas pressure? Good. Any evidence you can have gas pressure without a container?
Gas fills space.
Yeah.
Unless it's contained.
The whole Katy Perry thing over the last couple of weeks is don't look at the right hand pointing up to the sky vacuum that definitely isn't real. Look down here at the left hand because it's opening a door or kissing the ground or dealing with a wilting flower. You know what I mean? Let's look over here. It's so pathetic. But yeah, in reality, we just haven't got a sky vacuum. Right, Adam? Gas fills space.
They put a movie out just a couple days ago on the Roku, so it's free, called Kiss the Ground. It's not about space. It's about, I think, like environmental issues. But I don't like coincidences, and I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, I used to do that when I was a bit younger. I kissed the ground, and it liked it. Any evidence, scientific evidence, I should say, for gravity?
Well, you need to start with an observation, and their observation that they think they have can be opposite date with a balloon. So no.
Did anybody actually supply us with a video to cover today? I did reach out to people on the panel and say, let's have a video prepped to cover. Did anybody actually do that? Has anybody been keeping an eye on Master B to see if there's something specific? Don't worry if not.
Honestly, no, I haven't.
Well, okay, fair enough. Well, it might be a short show.
How far to get into housekeeping?
A couple of questions. Why do you want to do the full gamut?
I think we should. This is
okay.
flat earth debate.
I don't mind doing the full rundown of housekeeping. What have we had so far? Gas pressure without a container. Any evidence thereof? Have we already done that? Yeah, we have space. Yeah, Katy Perry we just mentioned. Any evidence of the R value? That's Earth radius.
The horizon is going to have to be Earth curve for that, and the horizon is not Earth curve, so there's no R.
Yeah, the derivation of R requires a flat surface be measured. So it's a contradictory assertion that you can acquire a measurement of a radial value by deriving surface level and parallel eye level. That would require Earth be flat and your eye level remain parallel with that flat surface level. Axiomatically true in all instances when referencing Earth. Unless you're suggesting that you can violate that base measurement to derive R values from it. So yeah, there is no R value, only measurements of a flat plane we dwell atop.
A pawn.
Atop. That's from the book, yeah. So yes, that's a brilliant point, case in point. So Neil's pointing out an example where QE would say we dwell upon a flat plane. I would say we dwell atop. Now, I say dwell atop, so it is going to be dwell atop in the book, because that's what I say. So it doesn't matter what QE says. It's like, yeah, but it's dwell upon. It's like, no, you can dwell upon whatever the bloody hell you like. Me, I dwell atop a flat plane. It's because I make it
weird
we.
because I say that too.
Well, it's because I make it a we. I very rarely say I dwell atop, because that almost sounds incorrect to me. Not quite, but we dwell atop a flat plane sounds absolutely correct to me. And that's how I say it, and will continue to do so. But there's going to be stuff that sneaks in, right, that it doesn't matter if there's occasional Americanisms in there, because I do occasionally use Americanisms. Not very often, but it doesn't matter. Does it?
No, what matters is the context of the book.
What matters is we get it done before I run out of microphones, because I don't want to buy any more. I just want the 40 or 45 that I've got to now sell slowly.
That's funny.
I just don't want to buy any more. I think that last wit, you know, it's like gambling. Every time I buy one, it is a bit like gambling, right? 50-50 chance it's going to be broken. Right, that's the bottom line. So it's gambling, isn't it? Well, occasionally the ones that do work offset the ones that don't. That's the idea, and still make a small profit, making it okay to chuck a few of them away. And sometimes they massively exceed their expectations and are much nicer than I thought, which I was explaining in the pre-show. I won't go in mic mode, I promise. But, you know, expectations, how can I link this back to Flat Earth quickly? Let's just carry on with housekeeping, shall we? Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
We're going to need an independent variable for that, Nathan.
Yeah, step 1, observe natural phenomena. We discussed it earlier, or Adam brought it up earlier.
What's an independent variable? Does that mean 1, or can I have maybe 4?
A bit like Lone Ranger, like asking if you can have more than one Lone Ranger. Independent, on its own, alone, singular. 1. Independent variable. That is the presumed, yet to be validated, suppositional cause of an effect you've observed in nature. It is that which you formulate into a hypothesis, that's a scientific prediction, as your presumed cause of the effect. It's what you think will cause the effect you observed at step 1 of the scientific method. Step 1, observe something occurring in nature, otherwise known as a naturally occurring phenomena. Upon observation of said phenomena, you can then formulate a hypothesis with an, as Neil is asking, independent variable. That is the single variable presumed cause of the effect. It must be real. It must be the independent variable in your scientific prediction. So therefore, it's your A statement in if A, then B, aka scientific prediction, otherwise known as hypothesis. So your statement, if A, must be real and capable of variation and manipulation by you, the researcher. That is to say, it must be something that you can physically vary yourself to, hopefully, induce the effect that you observed at step 1. That is to say, you vary this presumed cause, and as a result of your varying that presumed cause, singular, the phenomena occurs. Now, if that is the case, you vary your presumed cause in your hypothesis that is real and capable of being varied, and it does indeed induce the effect you observed in nature, then that is a validated hypothesis, at which point you would rule out the ancillary, now disproven, null hypothesis or zero difference result that sits alongside your scientific prediction. That is to say, if A, that's to say, if you vary your presumed cause, not B, B will not happen. Well, obviously, if you varied it and it did happen, you can rule that out. You put a line through the null. You then have a proven scientific prediction. That's to say, your experiment, that's what varying a presumed cause to see if it causes an effect is. That's an experiment. But at that point, you've got empirical evidence. Lest you violate the law of non-contradiction A can only cause B. It cannot both cause and not cause B simultaneously. Violation of the law of non-contradiction. Ergo, upon variation and manipulation of a presumed cause to the point of validating it as the cause of an effect observed in nature, you have empirical evidence and can form a theory based on the outcome of an experiment. Proven scientifically. That's what science is. This is natural science. Cause and effect reasoning based on natural phenomena, established through scientific prediction. That's variation and manipulation of a presumed cause of an effect, to the point of validation. That is an outstanding summary of the scientific method. My name is Nathan Oakley. My hourly rate is now.
And you will find that in the book. So let me ask you a question. So that would rule out the stars as being an independent variable. But some may say that you can vary them with time because you observe it at a certain time here, and then you observe it later, doing something different. But that don't count because they're not manipulating it physically, correct?
Yeah, to be an independent variable, first of all, you must be the presumed cause of the effect in your hypothesis. That is to say, it's what you've written down as if A. It must be also something that you can physically vary. That is to say, it must also be, part 3, real. So no variation and manipulation of concepts like time. They're not real. You can't vary physically a concept. That's ludicrous. Now, when people start asserting it, it does make me chuckle. And they can believe that they can vary and manipulate physically time. Obviously, DeLoreans are available to everybody now. But in the meantime, for us in non-La La land, a real independent variable must be capable of variation and manipulation by you, the researcher. That is to say, it is real, you must be able to vary it, and it must be the presumed cause in your prediction. That's to say, it's the A statement in your hypothesis. That's it. That's what a independent variable must have to be called an independent variable in a scientific prediction, otherwise known as hypothesis, Neil.
They also used to say that traveling would be the independent variable for the stars moving.
Are you a travelling star?
I am
Be
not,
careful how you
sir.
answer that.
So if travelling, then star movement. That's ludicrous. Okay, I just moved. There's no stars. Nothing's happened.
So when a certain traveling man says the globe predicts something, is he inferring that it's a scientific prediction or what?
Well, let's run it through. Is the globe physical?
Is the globe physical?
Yes. To be an independent variable, you've got to be physical and real.
No, you're begging the question. You're asking, is the ground we're on spherical?
No, I'm asking.
That's not what he said.
No, you said the globe is an independent variable, so I asked if the globe was real and physical. It is not. It's mathematical and conceptual and derived from flat Earth measurements. So the answer is no. So step 1, is this an independent variable, something that we haven't even got to? Can I vary and manipulate the globe? The globe that what is a concept derived from flat Earth measurements mathematically? No, it's not real. So no, it's not an independent variable. So when Duffy, the Freemason travelling man, says the globe model predicts, no, it's absolutely not science, he's a fraud.
That seems to be about all he says.
Yeah, that's what frauds do. They fraud people into belief that they've got science when they're asserting that a conceptual mathematical derivation of a flat Earth measurement can cause things. No, it's not going to be the cause in a hypothesis. It's not capable of varying and manipulating by you as a researcher, and it's not physical. It's conceptual. It fails on every front, basically.
So
What
that's
about
why when
gravity?
him
Have you done
and,
gravity yet?
Neil, can you hear that guy talking?
I did. I started. I was talking too. So excuse me. Go ahead.
forgiven.
Go
No, I
ahead,
was just
Surf
saying that's
Doddy.
why when Duffy and the alleged pilot were demonstrating how planes fly over an airplane, they had to use an actual toy globe and a toy plane.
Yeah,
That's all they got.
we use pitch data. We don't use toy globes and toy planes to demonstrate what the black box data, life and death information that comes from these aeroplanes and their flights that Wolfie's been on and had to be lying about for the last 8 years. Yeah, he's been exposed.
Pitch data from real planes.
Yes, NTSB, National Transportation Safety Board. About as high level in terms of authoritarian data that you could acquire. It is the highest of standard. Earth is flat in their data. Just to make absolutely clear that anybody who's listening to this realises that tosspots and liars and frauds holding up toy globes and toy planes do not in any way, shape or form compare to the National Transportation Safety Board's flat Earth measurements that they present when dealing with air crash investigations. Life and death scenarios are dealt with on graphs that show Earth is measured flat in no uncertain terms.
Yeah, we come official. They come with their children's toys.
Yes. Pastor Duffy, the travelling man, has his toy globe. We have pitch data. That Wolfie, the pilot, has been lying about for the last 8 years because it exposes him suggesting that they negotiate a curve when they don't. He's just been lying about it. Yeah? And therefore his projected lies and concerns thereof has led him to assert that we would need 160 grand to get pitch data. No, not Duffy. Wolfie, your lie's not worth 160 grand. It's just your lie, you scumbag, disingenuous man. Wolfie knows Earth's flat. That's why he goes out of his way to cover that which he's concerned about. Yeah, these are these Muppets and their concerns that have been projecting onto us for 10 years. Well, enough. We know you're worried about it, or you wouldn't be lying about it for 10... No, it's not quite 10 for Wolfie. 8 years. Right? You lied 8 years ago. We've exposed you, Wolfie. Your necessity to go around a curve. Yeah, you knew full well that your pitch data you said was 160 grand to acquire would expose your lie. Now, why have you lied? Yeah, because you need to cover it, don't you? Yeah? Well, good for you. Me, I don't care. I'm not lying when I say Earth's measured flat by the NTSB. When I use your own authority, this is Wolfie 6020, the pilot, yeah, I'll use your highest of standards in your realm to prove Earth's measured flat, because it is. Do I need to lie for 8 years and bullshit about how much it would cost to acquire this data that shows Earth's measured flat? No, but if you're lying about the facts shown in these graphs, then you're Wolfie. That's what the reality is. He needs to lie because he knows Earth's flat. The awful truth he's been hiding from everybody. Now, me, I don't give a crap anymore. Earth just is flat for every practical application you can ever apply to it. Ed?
Sorry. Yeah, but that's what I was saying this morning to you. We're just surrounded by disingenuous people. I mean, he came right out with that video with Duffy. Why wasn't a video like that made years ago when Brian was inquiring about pitch data? All of a sudden they got scared.
Because he's already lied about
you
it.
can't have this proof out there.
No, he already has lied about it with his little toy plane. This is Wolfie 6020, 8 years ago, in a clip that we've got that we can play at nausea of him lying about what he knows damn well not to be true. And then he spent a significant period of time trying to cover it up. Now we know it's just not that complicated. Now, for him, it was worth him lying about how much it would cost to acquire this data. What, this data that would absolutely, prove a ball for 160 grand? No, it was just something that would expose Wolfie's lies. And he knew it. He's known it all along. We all know it. We're all the same here, right, Wolfie? You're in the same boat as us. I've been saying it for a fair while now. You're no different to us other than you're a coward and need to project your concerns about the world that you've found out isn't the way you thought it was onto us. You've been doing it for a long time, you bleeding coward. You all do it. Yeah, but reality is you've all fallen down this flat earth hill and now, oh, it's not flat. Look how stupid the people who say it is are. That don't wash anymore. I know it's not giving you any bleeding pain relief, and as we overturn all the earth you've tried to cover up your lies with, all that we're doing is exposing the rotting corpses of you pathetic cowards, in your discovery of the same thing we've figured out. Earth's flat. That's how it's measured. You all know it. Been lying to yourselves. It's absolutely pathetic. Meanwhile, admitting to that, having a pair of balls and being able to say, yeah, I understand that the world that I've been lied to about with a religion called heliocentrism isn't the world we measure. Me being able to say that with confidence means I struggle to pay my mortgage and should be tolerated in terms of the abuse I suffer from cowards who need to cope with these facts I can openly admit to. So yeah, you feel free, pour scorn on me all you bleeding like. Doesn't change the reality. You're all cowards. You can't face this awful truth. I can. But yeah, in the meantime, I'm sure in the next 10 years there'll be plenty of dickheads from the flat earth side talking about Bigfoot or talking about some of the nonsense that you can pick on and make seem stupid so that you don't have to unearth these facts like Wolfie's declarations that violate what the NTSB show with measurements of a flat earth. You can just keep going for that low-hanging fruit over and over again so you don't have to face the awful truth. The corpses in your cupboard you are so terrified of.
Yeah, they're all on the same team. People talking about Bigfoot and claim they're flat earthers. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, flat earth is just earth being measured. That's all it is. You need to make it into some crazy witch-looking woman talking about how Bigfoot's something we need to concern ourselves with because her daughter smelt something in the bleeding air. I spoke to Karen B. Her standard was her daughter smelt something. We're surrounded by shills and idiots, retards spewing garbage waffle, calling themselves flat earthers so we can be that person that Wolfie gets pain relief from by saying, look how stupid flat earthers are, while he knows damn well that the plane's flying over a flat surface, that we measure our height with surface level and document in NTSB pitch data. Earth's measured flat. And that fact isn't going to change with some crazy witch-looking woman talking about Bigfoot.
Well, hey, Brian. Well, some of your ex-panel members picked up on that and are really laying down the evidence that Bigfoot exists.
What?
Yeah, and this is what's important. Why we never.
There's probably more evidence of that than Earth curve, though.
Probably, but that's why it was so important that we didn't entertain any of that nonsense. We are totally separate from that. But some ex-panel members are jumping on this Bigfoot bandwagon and claiming that they validate it.
Oh, you're not just saying this hypothetically? This is actually
I'm saying
a thing.
it for real.
Oh my God, I'm going to get the lowdown on this. I can't quite believe my freaking ears.
But hang on. Before we go down that road, I must point out something.
About the number
9.
The
ballers do all the time to flat earthers, right? You know what happens. You know the way we point out that some flat earth, we point out that this person's talking rubbish. They might be a flat earther, but we're pointing out they're talking rubbish. They don't like us pointing that out, right? So what happens is they find a friend in the ballers, right, who say, yeah, we don't like all them either. And that's not the way, these conversations should take place. They shouldn't be so cut and dried. And they have no open minds and whatever, all those FED people, blah, blah, blah. So then the baller brings the flat earther onto their channel to talk about something like flight and presents them with a heap of rubbish, right? And the flat earther then starts entertaining the rubbish, right? Because they're supposed to be good to talk to, not like those FED people, right? And they're being made idiots out of. And that's what happens, right? The ballers, they find these flat earthers literally find solace with the ballers, and the ballers find solace with them. But it always works out better for the ballers because the flat earthers who didn't listen to us end up getting their asses handed to them on the ballers' channels when they bring them on their channels. Because that's what they do. They become friends. And then the ballers stick a knife in their back because the ballers don't care. They want every single one of us in a pit and they want to cover it over with soil. And that's it. And anyone who thinks any different is stupid.
Well, I think differently. I agree right up to the point where you said they want to bury the flat earthers in the pit. No, it's the straw man of their recognition of the earth that they're concerned about being something other than what they've been taught. That's a ball. That's what they're really burying. Now, just before you joined, I was making the metaphor that we are unearthing those corpses, metaphorically, of their concerns that have been buried in earth that is metaphorically the souls of the flat earthers they've destroyed for their Bigfoot belief. And in reality, no, what you're really burying is in the case of Wolfie 6020, who was used as an example earlier, lies about how it works with that little toy plane, right, Brian? He's been covering it up for 8 years. That's why the pitch date had cost 160 grand. No, because it just exposes your lie, Wolfie. That's what's being unearthed. They've projected it onto us. That's the metaphorical earth that covers the corpses of their concerns. They're at the bottom of the same hill we are. I've said it all along.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is...
Neil.
Hold on. What I'm saying is...
What Brian was saying? Go ahead, Brian.
I was going before, and I got interrupted. What the hell with it? Go ahead.
Look, Neil, I know, I understand that. Neil is right.
Here we go. Any other day when Neil's interrupting Brian, he'd have got an earful, right? Today, because I've told him off for it, no, suddenly Brian's got to side with Neil today.
No, I did overtake. Neil was saying something, and I stepped in there before he was saying.
Before you go down that, let me tell you this. I'm waiting to get back in because we're being mocked because the person was a panel member here for years. This is what you get when you're on Nathan Oakley's channel. But freaking, find out for yourself.
Get a grip.
Neil, relax. Who are you talking
Neil, go ahead. It doesn't matter what I have to say.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Go ahead, Neil.
Just go ahead.
Oh, he's dropped. I hope he's not annoyed with us. Craig, if you're about later, can you help me find a path to a file for Teams so I can put it into my stupid Stream Deck? Because I'm spending 5 minutes a day trying to get the stupid thing to load. Bloody Teams. Anyway, I'll find out from Craig later. He's probably sold.
Anybody know who Neil was talking about?
He's going to join in a minute and tell us. I don't know.
I got here late. I just got it. Anyway, good morning, guys.
Morning.
Well, I guess I'll interrupt a little bit and second 100% what Brian's saying. Only it's the big picture, I think. I've been seeing it for at least 3 to 4 years, but more intensely in the past 2 years, especially with Duffy's thing, where people like McToon, Craig, and the usual suspects were always trying to get fairly new flat earthers to come on their show and debate and basically become part of the fold. And when Duffy came along, I saw personally how he kind of came on the scene, was influenced by McToon, but wouldn't mention McToon. But everything he talked about, this is like on Facebook forums and stuff like that I have most experience with him on, is that he was basically channeling McToon. About that same time, both Jaron and Whitsitt were on a couple of streams that were supposed to be, just conversations with McToon. And stuff like that, just to iron some things out and to try to come together and figure this out. So, yeah, you can look back a couple years ago, and every time that the usual suspects have gotten flat earthers and to come on like Modern Day Debate and come on their own shows or do co-shows or whatever, then those eventually became compromised. So, yeah, if they had asked for a fee to be on their show, they probably wouldn't have been in this situation, and we wouldn't be having all these shows.
Well,
Brian's 100% correct.
yeah, well, what I would say is I appreciate the support. But what I would say is that the likes of Jaron and Whitsitt, they weren't compromised. That's who they were all along. That's who they are. So the likes of them were not compromised. They're all in on the scam, right? Or the whatever you want to call it, right? The joke. And they were all along. But you have stupid flat earthers like Karen B, who will go against people like Nathan and myself and whatever, and say they're all bad over on FED. And then she'll want to have some stupid conversation with a baller about ether or whatever rubbish they want to go on about, right? And they'll take solace in each other. The baller say, we don't like those FED people. You can't have a conversation with them. And the globe busters will go, yeah, they're really bad, all them. And not just the globusters, but other flat earthers out there, right? Who are just as stupid, as far as I'm concerned, and just as naive. But the baller is not interested, right? The baller is happy to get some solace in the agreement of these mock flat earthers. But what the baller really wants is to get those flat earthers onto their show and then bamboozle them with bullshit and then reach a point of a vague, ambiguous kind of a draw situation within their conversation that would be half a debate. And that's keeping their ball alive. And it's diminishing the flat earth because the flat earth like has to outright destroy the globe in all situations, whether it be conversation or debate. And especially with evidence, has to outright destroy it. Can't have a draw. They can have a draw, and that's a win for them. We can't have a draw. But all these people keep handing them draws, and they've done it for 10 years. And then they want to keep on being part of this stupid cycle where they keep on being on this big merry-go-round of debating the same ballers, putting money in their pocket, and the flat earthers getting nothing out of it. But we're the bad guys for pointing out all the things they say that are wrong, and all the things they do that are wrong. We're the bad guys, and as far as the ballers are concerned, as far as these fake flat earthers are concerned, we're the bad guys. But we're not the bad guys. We're trying to point out where you're all going wrong, and the ones that intentionally do it, the likes of Jaron and them, right? They're as intentional. But then you have the other ones, right, who decide they don't like you because you're pointing out where they're just wrong. They have a pride issue. I know of one. I'm not going to mention who he is. He's very well known, and he stopped having that to do with me because I pointed out where he was wrong, and I did it in a comment for it. And then he wouldn't let it go, him and someone else, and I had to literally make it a thing on a QE Live, make a bigger deal out of it on QE Live back a year or two ago or whatever it was. And now he has nothing to do with me because his pride is right. I don't care about your pride, flat earther. I don't care who you're supposed to be or who you think you are. You're just wrong. Right? I'm not bad because you're wrong. You're just wrong. End of story. And if you want to take solace with ballers, or if you want to talk to other flat earthers who take solace with ballers, and you all have a little circle of giving out about FED, I don't care. Nobody cares. Right? It's about what's right and who's right, and what's wrong and what's right. And these people, the likes of the Karen B's, even though there's times she did things, I would say she did some stuff over the years that was pretty good. She put a bit of effort into it. But on the other side of it, what else has she done? Taken all the wrong sides, done all the wrong things, and listened to no one. What good is she? What help is she giving? What's the point in doing anything good if you're going to equal it with something bad in the future? Not just her, but many others. We'd be better off if most of these people just disappeared and we ended up with a very, very small amount of flat earthers who just knew what they were talking about. And if they didn't know what they were talking about, they didn't open their bloody mouths.
Well, that's what
you're supposed to do. And you admit when you're wrong.
I was about to agree with you till you said the last bit, which was that the rest of them just didn't open their mouths. Well, no, they definitely do. But there is definitely a small group of flat earthers, us, that just, you know when people say know them by their fruit? Well, we are in that position where we've been doing the same thing consistently for a long time, right? Now, at the end of that really long game for the sleeper shills that are out there suddenly turning their tails and pretending that they always knew it was a ball, or it always seemed like it wasn't quite right, and now they've found the path. Well, I don't think there could be anybody unless Mark Sargent's a really deep, sleeper. I don't know, maybe. But other than that, and Debay, and me. But that's about it, right? Who else is there? Name somebody else. Mark, me, Debay. Who's left? That could be a sleeper shill. That could turn around in 5 years from now, right? 15 years into the game and say, you know what? I actually just found out that there's the moon's up for this amount of time and therefore it's a ball. I mean, who'd have thunk it? Or whatever. I think, what could it be? Could they have people that would lie about being a flat earther for 20 years? Could that be the case? 10 years seems like it would be the limit, right? Surely. Although Mark Sargent could come out 5 years from now, would it be a shock? Not at all. If Mark Sargent 5 years from now said, you know what? Actually, we're in a simulated Earth that's a ball.
I think your clue that Mark would be his continued hesitation to use the arguments of, and I'm not even going to say your arguments, because your arguments are simply just stating the matters of fact and what is true. This is how things are measured.
Yeah, that's exactly what
this is how things are measured.
Whenever I've spoken to Mark about anything ever, he's been receptive, courteous, listened to what I've told him, and incorporated it. Now, normally I haven't got time to keep tabs on people like Mark, but people report back. They go, check it out. I heard Mark say X, just like you say it. And then you go and listen and go, yeah, he's just it's because he understood it, because I explained it to him and he understood. And I didn't have to keep browbeating him like with Dave Weiss, right? Trying to talk to Dave Weiss was always a struggle because he just braced against everything. Now, I don't think that makes him a shill necessarily. That's not the standard I'm laying this down for. I'm just saying it was a bit of a battle, the final one being science, where he just completely braced against it. And in my mind, I justified it because his mates, Witzy and people like Jaron, weren't in line with the uses of science in the real terminology and usage. They were barking on about ether and pseudoscience from their own sides. So that wasn't conducive with Dave and his mates, so I thought that's why he braced against it. But it was always a bit like that when I tried to educate Dave on anything. Mark, not like that. You listen, and it repeats stuff back to you that would let you know that he understood what you were saying, so you could quickly move on. And then once you dispense with the information, I was always happy whenever I've spoken to Mark. This is almost unilaterally true, that he's understood what I've said. And then he's demonstrated it later, that he did understand it, past tense, and can, in the present tense, regurgitate it when useful to him, as opposed to, I'm going to brace against how science works. You're like, why? Oh, right, because your shilly friends who are going to Antarctica need to use the same bullshit that we've been lied to with pseudoscience and ether. Oh, right. Well, there we go. Shows you back the wrong horse, you end up looking like a dotter. Hello, whoever that is, go ahead. I'll just shout at Jardo. Thank you for the 10 gifted memberships, Jardo. Go ahead, whoever that was.
I was just saying he is also helping on. I believe it was national television with the black swan. So I guess props for that.
I didn't make
that
out
was
a
a
word
national television show, right? Was it? Am I wrong on that?
I didn't hear you. Say it again.
Was it Mark Sargent, the one that went on national television with the black swan? Or was it him?
Yeah. Mark shouted me out.
Was.
He was on British TV. He was in front of Philip Schofield and Fern Cotton. And he was talking about me. People coming up to me, mate up the road. He's like, you were on TV. I'm like, no, I wasn't. He's like, no. There was this guy, Flat Earther, talked about you with Fern and Philip Schofield. I'm like, oh, really? And then I went and looked it up, and it was Mark who'd mentioned me on British national TV. Cool, huh?
So Mark's not likely going to be one of the ones that turn because he has.
I'll done 1 second, Surf Daddy. Go ahead, Chocolate.
No, not just mentioned you. From what I remember, you went on and spoke about the Black Swan. Really?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. It's been a while since I've seen it. I'm just trying to refresh my memory, but I do remember it was Mark Sargent that did that. That was cool.
The problem with Mark is he's a bigger whore than I am, so he'll do things that people will disagree with. So he did things like the Betfred, I think it was Betfred, and he's there stabbing a ball because they've asked him to do it. He's like, you can be the flat earther and you can talk about, oh, Earth's not a ball, and then stab and deflate this giant blow-up ball. Mark's gone, yep, if that's what you want, and he's done it, and people have got on his case, and he's like, I just don't turn anybody down when they ask me to do this stuff, unless I can't physically do it. This is Mark, I'm speaking on his behalf from what he's told me. It's like, no, if you're gonna commit to the gig, you just got to do everything. If that's Mark's attitude, you go, fine. Sometimes it doesn't. I don't think it looks great. That's why I use that example. I don't think Mark came off looking great in that. But you do what you do, right? And I'm not going to criticise Mark for it. I don't think I have even mentioned it up until now. Do we all know what I'm talking about when I talk about the Betfred stabbing the ball thing?
The Australian advertisement.
Yes. I didn't know it was Australian, but now I do know you've said it. Yes, Australian national TV. And that for their Betfred.
Yeah, but people have stated that made us look stupid. That's not what makes us look stupid. People already think that we're like that. Marcus just capitalising on that. That's how I saw it. That meant nothing to me. That didn't even remotely anger me in any way. What makes us look stupid is idiots out there pointing things like ether. Right? What makes us look stupid is flat earthers saying the rising always rises to eye level. Instead of using the word, saying the correct term, which is the original term, or the original statement, the rising always appears to rise to eye level. It's little things like that, right? And the idiocy of flat earthers just hand waving away things, right, which like that are stupid, like gravity. Fair enough. Hand wave it away, but at least produce something that shows you understand what you're hand waving away and why you can hand wave it away. Don't just hand wave it away, because in the eyes of the public, that makes us look stupid. And focusing on other things that don't bloody matter, like COVID, for instance. How many flat earthers lost? And there's been some good flat earthers. What's his name? Red Pill Philosophy. He's a brilliant flat earther. He was killing it on YouTube, and he went and focused on COVID. And he shouldn't have, even though his COVID videos were the best, right? It doesn't matter. The point is he should have stayed focused on flat earth, because when he went and did that, YouTube got rid of him. You know, things like that. It's just like flat earthers need to make better decisions. That's what needs to happen. You know, why worry about Mark Sargent? The whole world thinks we like that anyway. Mark Sargent is, well, like, he technically has become more popular because of that. More people know of him because of that. Do you know what I mean? So they know of Mark Sargent. So if they go to Mark Sargent is likely to send someone towards us. Maybe he'll send them to the Globusters too. I don't know. But there is a chance he'll send them to us.
Oh,
depends on who he's dealing with.
Well, no, he does. I've said that. I've brought that up earlier. The people I've managed to turn down in the pre-show, I was talking about, you know, me explaining there's a lack of time. Therefore, more than ever, I feel justified in just saying, no, when I've done that sort of gig, go on other people's show where they can potentially mute me. I've been paid to do it, and if you want me, you can pay me to do it. Now, people have got back in touch and gone, oh, well, you're only worth X amount. I know you've left comments under this video. I'm just filling the audience in, basically, Brian. But when it comes to the gig, if you're going to commit to the gig, like Mark has, you want to kind of appease anybody that's offering you stuff that you can't do personally. Hence, he was sending stuff out to me for the longest time. But what would happen is I'd turn it all down, because I'd try and engage with them and build a bit of rapport with them. Now, normally that's where it would fail, right? That was the first acid test. Yeah? You dip your little bit of litmus in by going, oh, right, how are you interested in this subject then? In other words, you're just trying to build rapport. Now, if they immediately distance themselves from you, then you know they're a wanker. You know what their game is. Almost immediately, you can tell the cut of their jib just by trying to engage with them. Now, they know cognitively, they've accepted they're going to be chastising and ridiculing you. So they don't want to mentally be your friend. Yeah, and it shows. So you're like, why would I want to engage with you? You obviously don't want to engage with me. Yeah? I'm just asking a few innocent questions of you. Daily Mail, for example, someone who Mark passed over. Right? Now, back in the day, we had an equivalent of Karen B from the Sun, Moon and Zodiac group who did do that Daily Mail bit because I turned it down after they wouldn't build any rapport with me. What did they do? Chastise and ridicule her. And I remember her bleating to me after the fact, oh no, they made me seem really stupid. Yeah, they did, didn't they? Yeah, well, they took all the crazy things you said.
It wasn't a hard task.
Yeah, I gave them a hard pass because they wouldn't build. It's not that I gave them a hard pass either. It's just you try and engage with them and they don't engage back. Right? That's it. That's the acid test.
Task.
So, like Ranty, I said in the pre-show, right? He's got no PR clue. Yeah? He's reached out by a video. Oh, right. That's not normally how people communicate, dum-dum. But I'll respond by video. Yeah? He's not getting the message, though, is he? Yeah? That's my equivalent of building rapport. It's like, no. So, next step is to actually communicate with me. Yeah? Because you're asking for mate traits. That's what you're doing, isn't it, dickhead? You're not a mate, idiot. Do you not get it? This is obviously complicated stuff for someone like Ranty.
Ranty reached out to you via video?
I think she's his friend. He could get Nathan to do whatever he wants. Nathan's his puppet.
Delusional.
Okay. That's weird.
Not weird, idiotic.
Well, did he reach out for a reason, or?
Well,
Just
by
to say
reach out,
hi,
you mean
or-
reach out in the same sort of standard that Duffy reaches out. Make a video saying you've invited someone to do something. Yeah, that's Duffy's standard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Ranty doesn't seem to get that. No, I've called out Duffy for the same shitty standards that now what Ranty thinks he can apply because he used to hang around with me once. Yeah, well, I was talking about your stupid Ken Burns and how idiotic you were with your conspiratard nonsense that you waffled all day long. You did do some useful things that I'll acknowledge, Ranty, like get side onto a few wind turbines. Nevertheless, Ranty thinks he can get me for mates rates. You dumbass. No, stick to the idiot delusions of the rest of the people around you who say it's because I got a mute button, or whatever shit excuse you want to conjure. Meanwhile, you want me, yeah, just pay me. Oh, you don't want to pay me. You don't even want to communicate with me. You can't even send me an email. Yeah, you like the Daily Mail, dickhead. It's just you've got a lot less clout. I told them to fuck off. What do you think I'm going to tell you, Ranty? Idiot. Yeah, these dickheads think they're Vice, don't they?
That's just funny.
Even
I mean, this is.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, it's. I mean, why that name all of a sudden he shows up again? Like what?
Yeah.
What the hell's going on?
Funny, isn't it?
That's so funny.
I don't swing in that direction. No, thank you, sir. I don't have mates like that. You know what I mean? So those sorts of people, they can pay me. You don't want to pay me? No worries. I'm not approaching you, am I? Am I sticking my hand out going, can I come on your show and you can give me money to do it? That's not what's happening.
Yeah, but he's holding on to that time when he used to be on the show. So he thinks that you're still mates and he could just say, I'll get Nathan for you. No problem.
It might have been, that could have been the case. People who are mates stay in touch, right? Even when they're busy. So occasionally you get people who, are in and out of touch because they've got stuff on. So it's like at any point, Anthony Riley's, he just doesn't come on the show. He's got other stuff going on. But at any given time, I can tell you something about Anthony Riley because I'm privy to it. So in a recent video, trying to make that point, I just mentioned something subtle, a little private piece of information I've got about Anthony Riley. That if you're an audience member, you're like, I don't know what you're talking about with that person in mind when you reference that. You're like, no, that's the intention. It's making the point that outside of what's broadcast, you keep relationships with your mates. Yeah? And then you can reference back to them. And then if somebody like Anthony Riley, as an example, because he's, in a way, in Ranty's mind, equivalent to Ranty. He thinks that, at least. That's what Ranty thinks. No. I know what Anthony's up to. He knows what I'm up to. Now, it might not be the case that we're hanging around day in, day out on the show, like when he was on the show and you were, but we've kept in touch and fallen out while keeping in touch, because that's what mates do. Yeah? But I haven't had that relationship with Ranty. I never did. So to suggest, all right, I can just get in touch. I can get Nathan. Can you? Whatever gave you that idea? Like I say, then you get compared to people like the Daily Mail. You get told to sling the rook because they haven't built any rapport with me. It's like, is Ranty building rapport? Did he send me that email? Yeah, same email I got off Will Duffy. You know what I mean? That response that he had from me saying, no, I'm not coming. Did that ever come? Did anybody get that? It doesn't exist. If there was no rapport building, there was no email exchange. Duffy's just a liar. Right? Same as Ranty. He's not PR trained. He's a painter and decorator. He doesn't know how to build a rapport with someone and get him to do something. He doesn't have to do those things. He doesn't have those skills. I mean, I can apply those skills to buying a microphone for 1/10 its value, so that if it fails, I can chuck it in the bin, and if it doesn't fail, I can potentially sell it for a decent margin and keep my mortgage paid.
Go on top of the
Skills that Ranty doesn't have.
You want to help me out real quick?
Mute there.
Oh yeah, it's already 10.
So yeah, those are.
Okay, get on mute.
Why isn't it allowing me to mute all? Oh, it did. Seems like it worked. Anyway, you're muted in G+. If you did want to chat, you can now go and unmute yourself because Chocolate was off mute. Anyway, the point is that being able to have that interaction with someone and convince them that they need to do something for you, for your and perceived by them, their benefit, that's gab. Like sales patter, gift of the gab, being able to negotiate. Those are skills that you don't just acquire or get trained in. You either got them or you haven't. Me, I know I've got those skills and can put them into practical use. I can build rapport with people. Yeah? If I choose to. I haven't just made an advert, right? This is the equivalent. I keep using this example. I'll just make a video tomorrow saying, I suggest that Ranty, I can get him to paint my house, you know. Now, I'm not going to communicate with him. I'm not going to send him an email. I'm not going to talk to him. I'm not going to go negotiate any rates with him. I'm just going to put out a video that suggests I can get Ranty to replaster my house. Not going to even suggest there'd be any payment involved. I reckon I can get Ranty to do that. Right, well, because, you know, he's a cuck. And if I tell him to do something, he'll do it. Stand there and watch while I shag your woman. Do it, Ranty. Stand in that corner, you pathetic cuck. And he'll do it. I suggest that on a video. I'll publish it. Let's see if it just becomes a reality. You know what I mean? We'll see if that happens. We could do that, right? That's the metaphorical equivalent. Now, some might see aspects of that as very real. Some might see it as utterly absurd. It doesn't matter. I'm not making adverts suggesting I can get Ranty. I find him intensely boring. I'd have a higher rate for you, Ranty, because I'd have to put up with your monotone, boring voice. Yeah? I'd charge you more for that, you boring cuck.
That's basically what he did.
Meanwhile, Anthony Riley gets in touch. Oh, can you be on my show? I'm going to run a show. I need to talk about this on it with you. Can you be there to riff with me? Absolutely, Anthony. Keep calling him Rantony. Absolutely, Anthony. Yes, I would do it in a heartbeat. In spite of me being up against it too much on running 3 jobs. You're a mate. I'll be there for you, of course. What do you need? You know what I mean? That's what you do for your mates. You drop everything when they need you. Do you do that for the guy that wants to ridicule you? You're having a laugh. These people are so dumb. Yeah, you can tell your audience it's because of the mute button when you don't want to pay me. It's no worries. Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, you care what you're perceived as by your audience. I know my audience actually care about me. They show it me in many, many, many different ways, like Jardo gifting memberships, like Adam helping me edit the book, like the panel being here now around me, right? I know how people feel about it. They show it. It's abundantly obvious. Well, Anthony, I keep getting the two people mixed up now. While formerly ranty, auditing the absurd, might as well give him his proper dues. He's a YouTuber. Put that hat on. Shout out to you as a YouTuber. Good for you, buddy. Wish you every success where I am denied it. But where ranty is going to suggest that he can get someone on his show. Okay, you're going to carry on through that? No, you're going to suggest that Craig might be interested in it too, aren't you? Because you're not exactly being friendly with these people either, are you? You're not spending day in, day out on their shows. They haven't got a public gateway for a start. I mean, my public gateway, where Ranty could join whenever he chose, right? To then make himself believe that he was one of my mates because he could join a public gateway that anybody can join. You know what I mean? The people you're hanging around with don't have that. You'd have to make a suggestion that Craig might be interested. I don't know. Have you contacted him? Is he your mate? Will he do it for free because he likes you? All of those things are, I would assume, presumed by you anyway, because you're not on a show talking about it with him. Yeah? Like I can now ask Chocolate his opinion because he's here showing me that he's actually got a concern for me and what I do. Anyway, I know I'm loved is what I'm trying to drive at. Thank you, everyone around me. You're all awesome. And I know I'm supported. You know, as much as I worry and want to show willing, and I am working hard, I know damn well that I'd be bailed out. Where Witsits put his hand out recently, people have spat on it. I know that if that was me, in the exact same scenario, people would have fallen over themselves to help me. They want to help me if that was my situation. Even if I did it in the same way Witsit did and went, oh, I'm not going to tell you what it's about, but I desperately need help. If I was to be doing that, for whatever reason, it seems very unlikely, but people would know in my tone that I meant it and that there was something legitimate about it. That didn't come across from Witsit, it just came out like he was money grabbing. That's why he got called it. But I would know that that would be the support I'd receive from the community because it's happened many times. So it's like you don't need to concern yourself when you've actually got friends around you. About friendships, that is. Well, look
I
at
heard
that.
the 10 grand was to validate Ether.
Is that what it was for? Yeah, you won't be doing that.
No, I'm just kidding. Nah, that's got to be something that he just wants money. Like all of them, I told you, they're all in it just for the money. And I know you do it for money too.
Yep.
But your heart is not in the wrong place.
Well, I do things for money because I can say sincerely. I had this conversation with Craig actually, as I've just asked him to help me out with a shortcut to something, about doing things that you love. When you do something that you love, it doesn't feel like work, right? So this now, the time's just flown by. An hour and 5 minutes has just disappeared, right? That's the only downside, actually, in some ways, because I'm talking about being time poor, and the shows just vanish, don't they? You start the show, welcome to Flat Earth. A minute ago we were doing housekeeping, and now the hour's up. Time just really flies when you're doing YouTube live streams. I love it. This is ace. And as I'm rounding out this point, right?
Time flies when you're not being bombarded and slapped across the face with all types of globe proof, right? So that might be it too. That might be a factor.
Certainly a factor for our longevity. But yeah, I don't think Mark's going to turn around in the next 5 years and reveal himself as a deep-seated supercell shill. I don't think that's going to happen. Anyway, any last remarks?
Remember when I was being accused of being an agent when I first got here because I just happened to be in New York on 9/11.
Oh, yeah.
Because I worked there somehow, because I worked in Manhattan while 9/11 was happening. I was an agent.
Yes, and then TJ put me in the camp with you as an agent.
Shit. Oh yeah, because you're from New York too.
Yeah, and I was
All
there
New
the day you
Yorkers
got
are
hit.
agents.
Me and you were agents.
Very suspicious.
Can I say something
You can.
before the show ends?
Only
It does not get
in
much
Irish.
background noise.
Only
It
after
does not get much background noise because I'm in the shop, so you
There
let
were
me
no
know.
planes.
You can. You just got to get the mild racism out of the way. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay. Yeah. It doesn't really matter what anyone does. All the facts and figures are out there now. So it doesn't matter who decides tomorrow that they're suddenly going to try and knife everyone in the back or whatever. It means nothing now.
Yep.
I mean,
completely
there's
agree.
nobody can go, there's going to be a loss. Because it's all out there. All they're going to be doing is contradicting the facts they would have previously shown. That doesn't stop them things being a fact in the story. Thank you.
No, I completely agree. It stopped being about people. It stopped being about groups. It stopped being about the perception of flat earthers and how they behave and what they believe in and the ghosts and ghoulies and ether and Bigfoot. It stopped being about that. It's now about the facts and measurements of an earth that is flat. That's all it's about. But with that, I'm going to say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow.
And I'm like, no, on this show, we never let anybody talk about nonsense. We don't go into the feast of nonsense. And we even stopped him when he tried to. And now you're going to hold us responsible
I need
because
to know
somebody
who you're
leaves?
talking
Planes
about.
on 9/11.
Owen!
Who?
Owen and Karen B. I'm getting these freaking
Are-
crazy messages. Oh,
Arwen-
yeah.
Arwen
Nathan
is
Oakley,
going all in
some
on
coach.
Bigfoot?
Oh, yeah. So I'm like, are you kidding me? Send me the freaking video. They sent me a video, and yeah, he's all in it. Oh, my goodness. It's insanity. But don't hold us responsible for that.
Who cares? Like, really?
Yeah,
I
but
don't
I'm just making a point. That's all they got. They go, here, look, yeah, they're trying anything to knock Nathan down or try to make Nathan look bad. That's what they resorted to.
What's that got to do with me? How's this
Well,
making me look bad?
because a panel member that was here for many years is claiming Bigfoot's real, and you're being held responsible for it.
Listen, sorry,
What?
but
How am I held
brother here,
responsible for
while
that?
he was on the panel, like I don't. It's like this is. Oh my god.
This is nonsense. How am I responsible for that?
Well, they're saying this is what you get when you sit on Nathan Oakley's panel for 8 years.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Okay, so it's a joke, and I shouldn't even have entertained it, but it puts me off a little bit. But then I'm like, this is all they got. Did anything to tear down Nathan, and it's right as you do in the book.
So
They're
lack of
trying to pollute it as much as they can.
Oh no, you making fun of Arwen getting into Bigfoot certainly proves your measurement of Earth. Sure, that's the ticket. Keep telling us how it's too big to measure the curve, but meanwhile make fun of Arwen. Oh, okay. It's like, come on, man, this is ridiculous. Let Arwen do what the hell Arwen's gonna do. Who the hell cares? There's probably more evidence for Bigfoot than freaking living on a magical spinning water ball flying around in a freaking vacuum. So, too bad for you. Boo hoo. Who cares? That's my personal opinion. That it? That's what they got.
I can't really speak at the moment because I'm in a supermarket for the next few minutes. So I can't say much at the moment. There's too much background noise, anyway.
Pick me up some potatoes, man.
I don't think I'm going to be able to send them over to you before the sell-by date is up.
Ah, shit. Any ballers in Discord? Tell us about this ball. We're supposed to live on a ball. So please tell us how this flat plane is a ball. Again.
I'm not a baller, but I have a question because there's one thing I don't understand in celestial navigation. It's more like how it works than anything. Can I ask that question?
Walk
Of
away.
course.
Okay, so it's about dip correction. I don't understand. I only understand that the purpose of dip correction is to get on the ground with the eye measurement. But I don't understand how it works, and I don't understand why it matters because if I understand, it doesn't matter how high you are on top of the Earth, the angle to the stars stays the same. So that's yeah, my problem
The,
with the understanding of what is dip
the,
correction
pur-
necessary
the,
for.
pur- the purpose of dip correction is to create horizontal, right, to work from. Because if you're not using dip correction, right, for instance, it means you're not using exact horizontals, which are angles. So you'll have to excuse a bit of background noise. If you're not using exact horizontals for your angles, what's going to happen is over time, right, when you're creating your circles of equal latitude, etc., 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 what's going to happen is you'll be bit by bit out. So instead of, like say, instead of ending up within 2 nautical miles of your chosen destination, you could end up within 30 nautical miles or 130 or 300 or 500 nautical miles. So all those little things must be corrected because then if they're not corrected, then you are going to have an accumulation of incorrect distances that uh, you think are correct. Basically, if you don't correct all those small little things like dip correction, what happens is you end up in a position where if you're sailing long distances, then obviously you're going to end up in a position where, as I said, when you think that you should be 2 nautical miles from your destination, you could be 200 nautical miles or more from your destination. So all
Can I
those things
just
matter. And
can I
if you
just
don't have your
clarify with
dip
him?
correction
Hold
corrected,
on, Brian.
you can't do your final. Sorry, Nathan?
Well, you've said it twice now. I just want to check that is actually what he's
Yeah, but
asking.
I'm going somewhere with. I'm actually going somewhere with. If you just be quiet for a second. You have That's not your final correction. I'm not going to go into the final correction now, but your dip corrections must be somewhat correct. But yes and no. Look, the truth is the dip correction is a load of rubbish because your final correction removes the dip correction and removes what they call celestial refraction. So it doesn't really matter as much as they try and make it out to matter in one way, but another way it does matter because if you don't do the correction, it makes, well, basically it means that you won't be close enough to have a correct. Oh, it's just hard to explain. Your final correction corrects everything. I'm not going to go into what that is now, but the dip correction is important for when you get to your final correction up to a point. Right? It's a bit of a shady area, to be honest.
Is that
One.
what you're asking, or my interpretation of what you're asking? So
Um, uh, yeah, I mean, I think I'm. I'll have to listen to it again to see if I can understand it. But I heard it before that they try to do shady things with a dip correction, and um, they try to basically recorrect what they put into the measurements wrongfully. Uh, but I still, well, at the moment, I still don't understand why the dip correction is necessary. But it's an understanding on my side. I have to listen to it again.
because
I'm
okay,
on the
so
go right now.
because you're correcting to a horizon that you're above. The horizon's formed with the ground, so ground level. When you look at the horizon, is going to be below you because you've risen above it. So in order for it to be a true horizontal for that line of that angle, you must correct to it. Now, if you're above the ground, and the ground is what makes the horizon, you must correct if you're going to assert that the angle you're measuring is 90 degrees to the ground position of the star. Now, if you don't correct, you're looking down, that's dip, at the horizon, which is formed with the ground that is below you. So for it to be a true 90 at the ground position of the star, you have to correct to the surface that you are above. The surface level is forming part of the angle. That's why you're correcting to it when you're above it.
Yeah, but Nathan, the problem is dip correction ends up overcorrecting because it's trying to presume a 7 over 6 or almost 7 over 6 or 7 and a bit over 6 or light sphere. So consequently, because they've tried to add in nonsense into it, what happens is that it overcorrects. That's why the final correction takes it away. So it's a bit of a joke. It doesn't help them, it goes against them, but at the same time, it doesn't help for accurate. It doesn't make things accurate either. Is my point.
I understand. It just leaves a bit of wiggle room.
Nah, I'll just take it as is right now. But how do you do a dip correction? Is it a subtraction? Is it a multiplication with the angle that you're measuring? How do you do that? Or is that? I don't know if the question is of interest.
How do you minus your height of eye from sea level? Is that what you're asking? You just have to measure your height of eye. It's also called height of eye correction. So you measure how high your eye is off surface level, so you can correct from that height. So it's just one measurement.
So it's just a minus?
Yeah, you're measuring, but you've got to have that measured accurately once. So you measure it at port. It's just where are you going to measure it from? So I've got a mouthful of food. I'm really sorry. I was hoping Brian would answer you.
No, thank you.
5 minutes.
So it's just a minus.
Yeah, you're minusing your height of eye. Height of eye correction. Dip correction.
Thank you so much for answering. I have an appointment right now. I'm going to listen to it back later.
Would you need a height of eye correction if you were on a raft?
What, like in a rubber dinghy, like in a life preserver, Neil?
Yeah, rubber ducky. You're the one. You know, a little rubber ducky. You're floating in it,
No,
and your face is right against the water.
No, you wouldn't need to do any height of eye above the surface level if your eye's on the surface level, Neil. No. Been a good week. Busy. Fun though.
I thought it was a great show. Now that we're what do you call it? Excommunicated.
What do you mean excommunicated? Everyone's here.
You've been excommunicated from politics.
Oh, from politics. Yeah. Ah, well, life goes on.
Yeah, but it is annoying though when flat earthers, supposed flat earthers, are talking about everything else but what they need to be talking about. And it's designed that way. I know it is. But come on, get a clue.
Yeah, I would agree with you there, Neil and Nathan. I would agree because it does get you exasperated to the point where you blow your top. You're bringing your case with integrity to have an open discussion and get it out there in good faith, and you're met with fraudulent statements like the surface of the Earth sea level curving, and you've got to accept that because it's in the Webster's dictionary. Do you know what I mean? Honestly. So I know what you mean.
Yeah, you're saying our opponents are disingenuous. We're approaching this in good faith. We're not violating the laws of non-contradiction with dodgy definitions. They are.
Absolutely. I'm saying, yeah. annoying thing is some flat earthers are, from time to time, are entertaining the stupidity and the pseudoscience dogma of it all, and it's boring. I have to keep saying to them, look, time is so precious. Moderators, what are you doing here? You can see that there's obfuscation going on here. That's your job, to keep them on point, and if they can't, remove them out. Put 2 new people who want to discuss in. I'm not just here with my ears. I'm here with my mouth. I want to use them both, yeah? Thank you. Fuck. Excuse my French there, sorry. It does get a bit exasperated even when I'm explaining it now. Sorry. If I may just add this as well, there's a new server had opened up recently, you know what I mean? I'm sure you've heard of it yourself, Nathan. I think you know the character Omnivore. Okay, now, never in any server that I've gone to, when I post my material, whether they're illustrations, photographs, memes, have anyone complained. Omnivore, complaining to the highest level of complaints about the things I'm posting. He took away my posting rights, right? I said to him, you are singling me out because the material that I post is so accurate, it hurts you. It hurts your position and it hurts you emotionally. It cannot be that I go to all the other servers, the same material is put in, no one says anything, they have a discussion and it's welcomed or not welcomed, but they don't ban me from posting it. What are you doing? I asked him. Why would you do that? It's because it hurts you. It's hurting you. That's what's going on. I know Omnivore. Everybody else was saying it. Well, why would you stop him from posting? And someone asked, is this the pretty chat that we have to keep our means pretty for you? Do you know what I mean? You know, that's how silly they get. We're hurting them. Don't forget that. We are emotionally and integrity, destroying them. Okay, that's what's happening. So we
There's
need
a
to
word for it,
keep
Jin.
that
It's called
impetus going.
being an echo chamber. So in Omni's
Okay.
echo chamber.
Yeah, over there, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. So, you know, we just got to keep that impetus going. I always keep it basic. I don't get too convoluted with anything. Don't get embroiled in silly little nest now. I'm direct and clean, clear, cut, basic English. Children must understand what I'm saying because they're the ones that are currently learning it at school. And it's brilliant. It's having a positive effect to the
It's
point
pretty
where
funny though.
they're hating me. Yeah, go ahead.
It's pretty funny though, Jin. Well, why would Omnivore? So why would someone like that erase any or delete anything that you've posted? Wouldn't someone like that who seems to want to explain to everybody what his position is, wouldn't he take the time to explain to everyone how your information is so wrong? Why would he just delete it?
Mute button.
Why wouldn't he just
mute it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's weird.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that, because it was the Black Swan, you know, Black Swan, bye-bye ball. And it's the one that I got from what's his name, Mark Sargent, courtesy of Anthony Riley. It's 8 feet observation height. Geometric horizon would be 3.46 miles. But he's got a problem with the bye-bye ball. He finds that offensive. I said, look, you're a big man. Look at the actual content, the information being given to you. And when you actually follow that through, it really literally is bye-bye ball, isn't it? If you're being honest. That's what I said, you know what I mean? Come on. That's why I said we're hurting them. He's emotionally damaged. We're doing a good job. And I'm hammer and tongs all the way. Yes, they need. I said to them, look, one, you will have nothing that I will want to see after 10 years of this investigation. You'll have no material unless it's you actually showing us how to measure that curvature of the Earth. You're in the video and we can photograph and replicate what you did. Outside of that, you will have nothing I want to see. Don't ask me to look at anything unless it's that video. Thank you. And that's my position. And I'm not here to be nice. If you're going to start jumping over me, not let me speak. Yeah.
Do you mind me asking, Jen? Was the deleting of your post either preceded or followed by the statement of you just don't understand refraction? Is that where he was trying to go with it?
Well,
I'm just curious.
I'm glad you said that. That's a very good question. It came at a point where, what's his name now? robust. I've forgotten the guy's name. Flat Earthers asking Ruheth, is the horizon apparent or not? That's where it's coming from. Where's your geometric horizon? This is where it came from. Okay. So then I posted the black swan to back up the conversation. Yeah. Rigorous. Yeah, the guy's name is Rigorous.
Yeah.
It's Rigorous.
Hey.
That's the guy's name.
Rufy.
Yeah.
Yeah, how's that geometric horizon working out for you, Rufy?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, is the horizon physical?
That damn geometric horizon still haunting them, huh? The one they gave up all physicality to years ago.
Hold on a second.
Now they're trying to resurrect it.
Time out. Because it is physical. It's just not tangible.
Oh, yeah. That checks out.
Oh, it's physical. You physically see it.
It should be. Yeah. Neil, I said exactly what you said, only slightly different. It should be physical, but we can't find it, is what I said.
No, it shouldn't.
I mean, physically see it. It's just not tangible. Wait, she's got no address, right, Chocolate?
Oh, it's got an address, apparently, but you can't get to the address. The mailman can't get to it. Because whenever you try to get to it, oh, look, it's over there. Because it's a fucking horizon.
Right, they need it to be an address.
So crazy, bro. It's a parrot, man. It's not really there. You can't get there, guy.
Yeah, you physically see it. You just can't tangibly get there.
But but that's where the boats are doing their boat thing. when they disappear over it, the thing that you can't get to. Yeah, that's it.
How far is the boat?
So Rigorous, the flat earther with Ruhev now, that was going on for about 45 minutes of this Ruhev just totally obfuscating the question. So I had to jump in and say, look, moderator, I'm here to listen and also speak. I'm trying to interject. I cannot. You're allowing this thing to go on. And I know why you're doing it, because you're hoping somehow, some way, Ruthless is going to win this debate. But he's not going to win it if he doesn't actually answer the questions that are put to him. So can you please do your moderating here? Do you know what I mean? 'Cause it's rather frustrating, okay? And then I actually said to Ruhev, look, you're claiming that your model predicts, but what you're predicting we cannot find, okay? So please stop with the prediction and start proving, or sit down. Shut up. Bloody hell.
His model's got a flat Earth in it. His model's got flat Earth for the distances and flat Earth for the heights. It's called surface level and eye level in his maths. So if he's appealing to his model, hey, how's that geometric horizon working out, Rufy? Yeah? You'll need a surface level to acquire it, won't you? There, son. Unlucky. What's that?
If something is too big, if something would be too big to measure, wouldn't it also be too big to model?
Yeah, but we can measure surface level. That's no worries.
What model? So wait, you can give them a model as long as you tell them they're going to need a flat Earth for that model, Nathan? That's where we're going?
Yeah, they'll need a flat Earth for the surface level in their model that we're calling this Earth curve mathematics, derived from surface level parallel with eye level. Hey, Rufy, yeah? You'll need a flat Earth for that, mate.
Yeah, I then went on to drill them with the your in-flight telemetry data. I've been using that all this year. Ever since I've had it, it's been my armor to smack them on the head with all the time, yeah? So I did it again today. I said to them in this Omnivore one, I said, look, basically, you're arguing with modern technology now. The in-flight telemetry data is telling you that the Earth is indeed a leveled horizontal. Real time. There's no hypotheticals here. This is a real situation from 2015. An incident happened, and it shows that the pitch angle of the aircraft for 2 hours of this ordeal was horizontal. So please, what are you doing here? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I just hammered that with them. Hammered it in.
Be careful before Will Duffy comes out with another video with Wolfie. They break out the toy planes and the toy globes, and they teach you how wrong you are. How Will Duffy will sit and tell you how flat earthers think that the pitch angle would change, and then Wolfie will tell them, well, yeah, the pitch angle will change, but you just got to look at it externally.
Yeah,
You know,
as the spirit level is changing its angle on the globe. Beautiful.
but here's how it doesn't
That's
change
fantastic.
while it would change. Like, these people don't realize how ridiculous they sound. Like, literally, you're telling us around the ball it would change, but here's how it doesn't change. Just gotta look at it differently. Oh, really? So I can look at a straight line differently. It's curved, yeah.
Not differently,
Horizontal could be
externally.
oh, yes, externally. Thank you. Thank you very much, Neil. Hopefully they come out with like part 2 or part 3 with of the, break out the toys,
See,
baby.
we
'Cause-
publish citation and what official data. They bring their children's toys.
Well, I mean, how else do you follow up the final experiment? You got to say it like that, right? How else do you follow that up? Part 2. The final experiment.
Part 3. This time it's personal.
The mass exodus.
The Adventures of Nick.
Well, I know they watch our videos. Hopefully he understands what exodus means. That means Nathan wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here if there was a flat earth exodus.
Oh yeah, I see. That's a joke. That would be a joke if that was such a thing. Wow.
Well, Exodus means, hold on. Exodus means they all left Egypt. They all left. Nobody stood behind. And he's talking about
Yeah.
how flat earth is a mass exodus. That means everybody would go, Duffy. Oh, that's right. But you don't even understand the Bible or comprehend it or even know what it says. You're a phony pastor.
Yeah. Good point. What was I going to say? I forgot now. Never mind. It'll come back to me in a minute.
Not only that, Jin, but not just the children of Israel left. Others followed them when they saw the signs. And you
Yeah.
got Nick leaving flat earth. And that's a mass exodus.
Yeah. It's come back to me now. I've noticed that Geo's server has been empty past this week anyway, the past couple of days, past couple of weeks. Okay, it's empty now. So like 3 or 4, nothing's going on in there. So that's quite unusual there. And then I met this South African woman last weekend on a British server that I frequent. It's called 18 Plus, Union Jack 18 Plus. And I'm talking to this South African woman. She's obviously in her 30s. She's got 3 degrees. And she thought that flat earth was ridiculous. And she started to attack. Okay, so I just asked her the basic questions of circumference, radius, speed at the equator, angle, tilt, how fast round the sun are we orbiting supposedly, how fast through the solar system, you know, the basics all the way through. She didn't know a single one of those, okay? So then I gave her all the numbers that she didn't know. Then, of course, we give her the methodology at which we try to measure the curvature, and we're finding extended horizontality. We're using your model, your numbers, and we're going out now. This is what we do, the flat earthers, and we're trying to measure that curvature, and we're finding extended horizontality.
Why are you doing that?
Is what I
Why
said.
are you trying to find curvature?
That's what I said. I said we took the numbers that they gave us at school, for example, and we're trying to now find the curvature of the Earth, and we're not able to find this curvature. Okay, so can you tell me the methodology that you used to confirm that the Earth is an oblate spheroid? She says I should be quiet because I'm being rude and I'm not letting her talk. I said no, I had to explain everything. Now can you explain? And she couldn't. So I asked her the question. Last point. So you don't know your model that you're trying to defend, and you're right. I know your model inside out. I've gone to check, and I'm wrong. Okay, there you are. I'm wrong. I've checked it. You're right, but you haven't checked it. Okay, 3 degrees you got. Okay, that's how I left it. What a joke, eh?
Other than us looking for Earth curve.
Yeah, most people
It's
who
not there.
believe that crap don't really know any of those things about the crap they believe. You got to actually be the one to tell them, which is very weird.
Now, this one's really going to make you laugh, because Rigorous asked Ruhev what is meant by local flatness or local level in accordance to geodetic surveying and that, okay, with the theodolites. And that's when he started to just obfuscate, duck and dive under the table and not actually answer the question. And what is the distance of this local levelness? It was really funny.
That's bloody good. I like that.
So in other words, how far is local?
Yeah.
Like I used to ask that all the time. Like, so how local? If it's locally flat, where do I go that I'm not local anymore? How does that work out for you guys? Is there a distance to local? How do you measure local?
It's great. You know what I
Home
said?
Depot.
I said, okay. Yeah, go ahead. Go on. No, go ahead.
Home Depot chocolate. That's local level.
Okay, yeah. So what I did was, okay, I've got my theodolite now. I'm using my theodolite. I've established a local level to, let's say, 60 miles. So I'm going to go to the 60-mile point now and establish another local level, 60 miles. And then I'm going to go again now to another 60 miles. Welcome to the flat Earth, everybody.
Yeah, now you talk. Now that's
I'm
much better.
establishing so
Jim.
much level.
Yeah, now you're talking
no,
my
go on,
language, rather than we looked for the curve and tried to measure it. Why would we be doing that? But when you describe how we actually measure Earth, it's always flat, right? And what's their response? Well, it's locally flat. Yeah, we're measuring Earth flat. They know it, we know it.
Yeah, because locally flat would still be flat.
And measured.
Yeah. Right.
You always get an arbitrary number. I've asked in the past, what size is local, right? And Chocolate said he's asked as well, and Jim is asking it. And I was given 3 miles, let's say in a radius, 16 miles, and I think 10 miles in from 3 random people, 3 different random answers from 3 random people. So.
Oh, it's the same thing like asking where, how far up do you go to see the curve, right? You'll get like 3 different answers because it's some arbitrary number that everybody has in their mind, right? Like where does magical floaty land start? You don't get a response to that. They all come up with their own shit. It's the same thing. How far is local? It's over there. Okay.
No, it's supposed to be where the boats go over the horizon.
But where the boat's going over the horizon, if I go there, then I'm local. But then what you're telling me is it's locally flat. So it would be flat wherever you are. That's what local would mean. It's flat wherever you are.
Yeah,
Neil's
but a few
answer
weeks
was very
ago.
good, though. Sorry, Neil.
I just wanted to say, a few weeks ago, Chocolate, you said it perfectly. You said, we're done looking for that curvature nonsense. Something to that effect. It's over. I'm not looking for no curvature no more. What curvature? Earth is measured flat. That's it, buddy. Pack it in.
Yeah, but Neil's answer was actually the correct one that they should be given. Because technically, local flat should depend on how high you go. If we're talking about their BS. Because it should be, let's just say, at a 6 foot height, right? Then it should be local flat in a radius of 3 miles. When you go higher, then that radius should increase. So the higher you go, the bigger the local flat should be, if you think of it that way. Because the curve doesn't happen till the horizon. That because they're a geometric horizon that doesn't exist. But if you were to go by what they're claiming, then they have to claim basically that the higher you go, that the more locally it's flat, which is a contradiction to what they're actually claiming. It's so stupid.
Yeah, but what we're talking about is
Yeah,
justifying how flat they
Okay.
measure it. That's what this discussion is, right? They measure it flat too. That's basically what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying this that what Neil said was actually very pertinent because they couldn't deny it, if you know what I mean.
How they're denying it? They're telling us that the locally flat is coming from them. So how do they then deny that it's flat when you just told me it's locally flat? Because the only reason you would say it's locally flat is because you measured it flat.
Yeah, it's flat because it's
Yeah.
flat. Just like you said. Exactly.
Yeah, but my point is that what Neil said is pertinent, that they can't say it's that the local area is greater than where your geometric edge would be. They can't say that. But that geometric edge extends in distance the higher up you go. So it's always past the point that you can't see this curvature.
Yeah, but that would be the point of them saying that, right? Because it's obviously not the curve is not here. It's somewhere else that's not local to where you are. So it would always be beyond whatever locality they try to assign to whatever distance they're talking about, right?
But it's always anywhere that isn't being measured.
Oh yeah. I get that. It's always over there. Not right here because we're here now and we don't need it here, but it's over there. It's definitely over there. Oh man.
Yeah, yesterday again, I asked one of those the English moderator in the Omnivore server, what methodology did you use then to confirm without a doubt that the Earth is a globe, right? He obfuscated it for like 20 minutes trying to make me answer his question. I said, look, I've asked you a question. You're not answering. We're 10 minutes into this. Can you just answer the question? What's wrong? Right? Picture this. I've got 3,000 kids with their parents. They want to hear you tell them how you measured the curvature of the Earth so they can go and do it. If it's possible, can you please tell us? Hurry up now. What's wrong? And then he said, well, I looked to the sky and the aeroplane flying across the sky and the light and reflection coming from the aeroplane proves globe. I just fell about laughing. I said, you see, now that's a flawed and fraudulent methodology. No accuracy can be gained by that. In fact, it'd be more accurate for you to be on the plane and then use your spirit level or your bubble app. Then if the plane is taking a curved trajectory, then you've got it. Okay? But to sit here and tell me that you're on the Earth's surface, you're going to look at a plane traveling across the sky and you're going to determine Earth's curvature from the light reflection, where's the accuracy in that? Sorry, that's not good. That was yesterday. Moderator.
Well, there you go.
So that's kind of what they're offering, which is the same as they've always offered. They're just offering it now with less confidence. It's exactly the same as they always offered. All they ever offered were flat plane measurements that they then added onto. The difference is now they can't do that with the same confidence. So they're doing it because they can't concede that they must do it. So
Exactly.
they're doing it. You know what I mean? So they're just doing it out of lack of It's nearly a position of shame to put him when you put him in that position. When you put him in that position these days, it's nearly shameful for them to say it. They're nearly embarrassed saying it. That's what.
Because
If you listen to
back then
their
it was
voices,
cool. Sorry, Brian.
Yeah, back then it was cool.
Back then it was
No,
cool
but
saying
Chocolate's
it's
correct.
too big to measure the curve. Right? It was cool because you know why the flat earthers came back with no, but there's supposed to be curve. Like kind of like what Jen said, we're looking for that. It's supposed to be there. Now we don't do that. Well, at least most of us don't do that. Oh, it's too big to measure the curve. Yeah, it's because it's flat. Thanks for telling us that.
Yeah, but what about the effects
Appreciate
of
it.
curvature? The bottom of the building's missing.
The effect of the same curvature that you just told us is too big to measure. That one. That one. Okay. Please show us the effects of the measure of the curvature that you told us. Also, it's too big to measure. How do you get effects from something like that?
No.
Yeah.
The correct statement was that we can't show you curvature, but we can show you the effects of curvature.
Correct.
That was the correct statement.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's
But
exactly
through
what they used to
mathematical
say.
formulas.
How do you show us the effects of something you said is too big to measure? How do you know the thing is there to get the effects from if you don't have the measurement that needed to create the effects? Like, are you crazy? People like that, you just ask them, do you have your medication today? Are you feeling okay?
Well, the last time I checked, size had nothing to do with measurement. You know what I mean? Measurement was a series of units that you could use geometrically to measure anything of any size. So I don't know why it's too big to measure if it's real. It's not real enough to measure. That's the real answer.
Hello, how are you? Okay.
Are you telling me? Thank you. Are you telling me, Brian, that the bottoms of those buildings are not missing? That's the effects of curvature.
You already parked outside?
You're off mute, chocolate.
Yeah, if you can pull up to the curb, I'll bring them out.
Why, is curvature at the curb? Chocolate?
Chocolate must know where
It's
this is.
been let off. It's been let off. Recently, I say recently now, I've been doing it for ages actually, quoting expected curvature through given distances, okay? And then I'm also describing what one should be experiencing every single time. And they hate me for it. You know
Ooh,
what I mean?
that's
When I'm
going to get
sticking to
Nathan's goat.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Why
Yeah.
should we
Through
be
flight.
experiencing them?
Go ahead.
Why should we be experiencing them?
You know, if you're in flight or on a sailing boat for a ship or something like that, hot air balloons, etc. You're going to have visual experience as
How are
well
you?
as physical experience, of course. Or would you disagree with that? Because you've got your senses. You do know when a plane is taking off and it's leaving a horizontal linear line to an angle as it goes up. Your body weight distribution changes. Your body is fighting to be horizontal. You're walking up a hill. Your heels are being pushed to the back of your shoes. You're using the ball of your feet and you're leaning forward. Your body's trying to keep level. There, you're going uphill. In reverse, you're going downhill.
Yeah,
Now your toes are now
Gin.
pressing on your boots.
I got
You're
all this.
leaning back.
Gin.
You're trying to keep horizontality, right?
Gin.
So your senses will know.
Oh my God.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you're telling me we should experience curve. That's what you're telling me. And you're trying to tell me how you're...
No. If you're on your ball earth, not yours, but the ball earth they're on.
But why?
And they're asking, what should it be like? What?
But why?
What do you mean, why?
I don't understand why. Jen, I love you, but I don't understand why.
Oh, no, yeah, because the conversation has degraded to them not conceding and putting forward questions like, well, what would it feel like? Well, and then you ask them, don't you know? You're on your globe, aren't you? Well, let me explain then. So it's just me smacking them up some more. That's why. I'm wrecking their server. That's why. Okay?
You're playing with your food.
Exactly. Kicking them where it hurts. Because that's what I like to do.
Yeah, but you know what hurts worse? And I realized it. because it's pouring salt right into their wound. The fact
Yes, I
that
know
the
that.
cold stone
I'm
proof
hurting
of
them.
flat Earth is it's measured that way. It hurts
Yes.
them bad.
Yes. Brian said it earlier on, just about 5 minutes ago, that it's embarrassing and shameful that they have to blurt out what they blurt out. And when people are listening to it live, I home in on that. That's what it's all about, that you home in on that point. That this is an embarrassing situation. Look at this. Look at how they're not able to deal with the main thing, that curvature. That and then they ask silly questions like, why is up, up, and why is down, down? I said, ladies and gentlemen, they've just thrown the towel in. Because whenever a
Imagine
Glober
the
asks
pain.
that question, once they've asked that question, why is up, up, and why is down, down, that's them throwing in the towel. I will never answer that question because even a child knows the answer to that, ladies and gentlemen, clearly.
Well,
Well, it
Jim,
wouldn't really matter.
you have to imagine the pain that they have to go through in order to find the correct sequence of words to make a flat plane seem like it's measured spherically, right? Imagine how painful that is. You know something is flat, and you have to somehow convince everybody that's listening to you that the thing you just said is flat is actually not flat and it's curved. That's painful. That's why for years we've been saying, share your pain, bro. It's okay. You know?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
up and down
that's
has nothing
right.
to do with a sphere. Up and down have nothing to do with a sphere. Up and down are in relation to a horizontal plane of reference. So, but it wouldn't really matter if you weren't able to answer that question, because who cares? That is not that is such a red herring away from actual proof being presented, geometric proof for a sphere Earth. You know, Craig, OK Computers, was saying, I don't know if he's there or if he's busy, but he was saying, talking to me and Neil there a few days ago, and he was saying the implications of flying an airplane around the globe would mean that the passengers would be experiencing, like the plane would be experiencing centripetal force, but the passengers would be experiencing centrifugal force. So all the passengers would be heading towards the ceiling of the plane because they'd be experiencing an angular momentum. And what happens then is that the angular momentum would cause them to move away from their seats, in a direct straight line towards the ceiling. So if the plane was flying around the globe, right, we're on a globe and a plane was flying around it, and you're in the plane, you'd have to keep your seatbelt on to stay in the seat. Otherwise, you'd be going up and hitting off the ceiling.
I love you, Brian. I love you, Brian, because I said all that. That's what I always say. In fact, I'm always using what you actually said in the video, you know, the Globetards Flatline, episode 128, where you spoke about the aeroplane being at its safest position when it's flying horizontally. But when it starts to take this curved trajectory, it is a dangerous maneuver and puts serious amounts of stress and pressure on the actual fuselage, wings, engines, and everything else whilst it's making that curve. And if it had to do that for like from Japan to England, that's a 9 to 10 hour flight. At the end of that flight, the aeroplane would have to come under some serious scrutinization and safety checks, because that's a lot of stress through curved only, no horizontal flight. Would you agree or disagree with that, Brian?
Well, I would say planes would definitely have to be built differently because they'd be dealing with an angular force. So they'd have to be built differently. Because even a plane that's coming into land, it's descending, has to slow down because it's heading into a higher density of air, higher cubic inch density of air, and consequently, if it doesn't slow down, it can end up having problems with the wings pulling away from this fuselage. Sorry. So there's like a plane wouldn't be designed as it is and couldn't fly as it flies if the Earth was a globe. Have you seen my most recent videos?
Brian. I've just had an idea, Brian and Jin's Airlines, where the seating takes into consideration the curved trajectory. That means the actual seats move. Do you understand? So you remain horizontal as the plane is taking its curved trajectory. Do you understand? Much like a swing pedal. Can you imagine that? That would be a great plane, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's like it's on a swing, so you keep on being in the same orientation while the plane changes its orientation.
Yeah. Gin and Brian's Airlines. Yeah, exactly. That's the one.
Well, Jane, my most recent video is a challenge to the boarders for anyone to go up on an airplane and use the geometry I show. And if the Earth's a globe, then the geometry I show, there's two sections on geometry. The first one is how they actually descend, right? And how the official way is descending, which is using trigonometry with the horizontal baseline, the adjacent of the triangle, orientated towards the surface of Earth. Whereas the second one is how it would have to work on a globe, which is with the adjacent orientated towards the sky. And I give all the details for the same altitude that I use, for the the first portion of the video. And I basically say it's very simple. If the Earth's a globe, then you can go up to 37,000 feet, use this exact calculation and this exact, use this exact calculation and figures, and you will end up 1,000 feet above the airport. If it's not a globe, then you will end up 30 miles away from the airport, heading into the ground. It's that simple. And all they want to do is talk about anything but the challenge. None of them want to address the challenge whatsoever.
Yeah, thank you very much. Can you please DM me that video if you've got the time? I would love to see it because that's going to be, sounds like something I can use. Okay? Yeah, so, but once I get my head around it, I'm definitely going to be using it. If you DM it to me, I'm going to be using it for sure. Because that's what I do. I'm just using all the stuff that you guys are pushing through that I think is valuable. Yeah, because they're tools to what I've been saying for a long time, and now I can bring them to the tools, to the proof that they can use for themselves. So I'm going to use it as a whip, basically, is what I'm saying. Yeah. Go ahead.
Hey, Jen, if they take the challenge, they'll be committing suicide.
Yeah.
The greatest part about all of this, is that it's not like, oh, this is something that the flat earthers came up with. No, you can go check out the NTSB and the FAA if you want that. That's not something we just made up. We're just putting out there what's already out there for people who may not know what's out there, like pitch data, right? Because we're not the NTSB. We're not the ones making the flights out there.
That's right.
We're not the ones doing the pitch data. That comes from official sources. The people who actually put vehicles in the air, instead of listening to people like Omnivore who are sitting on the internet trying to convince people and gaslight people into thinking that he's smart. No. We're listening to the people who actually put vehicles in the air, asswipes. Like, what the hell's wrong with y'all? We don't have to come check you, McToon, or Fight the Tight Shirt, or Triangles, or any one of these clowns. We don't need you. We got reality. So kick rocks with your little, oh, it's a ball and all that. Sorry. That day is done. It's come and gone. Sorry, I just felt like ranting.
So is that, what'd you say? What's the initials? N what? NTS what?
NTSB. One second.
Oh, so that's official, right?
Yeah, NTSB. Yeah. Jane, I placed that video into the main text chat in the FED Discord. I think it's in the right place.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I appreciate that.
No worries.
Thanks a lot, Brian. Thank you.
No worries. Sorry, Neil.
Yeah, Neil. They're official. That would be the National Transportation Safety Board. Yeah. Not flat earthers, not flat earth central, not Nathan Oakley and whoever. It's the NTSB. It's the FAA. It's the people who put vehicles in the air. Thanks.
Yeah, but hold on. The guy Wolfie's a pilot. What do you mean? He don't know about this? He brought his toys the other day.
Wondering if they brought out the same toys to give him his pilot instruction. Very curious about that.
Right, is it time to round out? With that, another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.